Hockey fans, get your hot chocolate ready as the Wildcats turn it on, coming face-to-face with the Wisconsin Badgers. So come take to the ice with us as Public TV 13 brings you Wildcat hockey next.
Public Television, a public service of Northern Michigan University.
Local acquisition of Wildcat hockey was made possible by a grant from Northern Michigan University Hockey Blue Line Club.
From the Dane County Memorial Coliseum in Madison, Wisconsin, it's WCHA Hockey as tonight the Cardinal and White of Wisconsin take on the Wildcats of Northern Michigan University in Game 2 of this series. And it was the Wildcats getting to a 7-3 victory over the Wisconsin Badgers last night.
And the first time in this facility that Northern Michigan has won. The Badgers had 6 consecutive victories. And, of course, the telling story was the first period last night when everything Northern Michigan did went their way. And the Badgers never could get on track. And by the time they did, the hockey game was, in essence, over. And Minnesota, of course, defeating Duluth last night, has now moved into a tie with Wisconsin. Both of Wisconsin and the Gophers 1 point behind Minnesota Duluth in the vital run for that second position in the playoffs. And, Paul, here you are 3 games away from your regular season, and it may go down to the very last game to determine who's going to get that number 2 spot in the WCHA.
Well, what changes would you expect for Wisconsin tonight?
Well, you've got to respect the man that Northern Michigan sends flying out of the zone. And the Badgers at times tried to stand up and hold the zone, and they just flipped the puck out. And 2 of their goals in the first period were on the lone break. So you've got to respect that man when he shoots out of the zone. It's the responsibility of one of the defensemen to simply go with him. You cannot hold the zone, and that's the one big adjustment. And I think we should go down now and pick up each team's starting lineups.
In goal from Kamloops, British Columbia, number 35, Mike Jeffrey. At left defense, from North Vancouver, British Columbia, number 27, Dave Randall. At right defense, from Edmonton, Alberta, number 4, John Good. At center, from Edmonds, Washington, number 12, Bob Curtis. At left wing, from Warren, Michigan, number 20, Jeff Gray. And at right wing, from Kitimat, British Columbia, number 11, Kevin Trapp. And the remainder of the Northern Michigan Wildcats. And now for the University of Wisconsin Badgers. In goal, from Flowertown, Pennsylvania, number 1, Mike Richter. At left defense, from Foxborough, Massachusetts, number 5, Paul Stanton. At right defense, from Superior, Wisconsin, number 17, Marty Wheeler. At center, from Madison, Wisconsin, number 22, Tom Ryan. At left wing, from Richfield, Minnesota, number 7, Tim Thomas. And at right wing, from Toronto, Ontario, number 19, Scott Mellenby. And now will you please rise and join Professor Mike LaCrone and the UW Varsity Band for the playing and singing of our national anthem.
This will be the 11th meeting between the Wildcats of Northern Michigan University and the Wisconsin Badgers, and the Cardinal and White have skated to 7 victories, and they have lost 3 times.
And the officials tonight, once again, are Larry Thomas, who called 18 penalties and did it nicely, 9 each way. And the linesman, Tom Egan, and Al Welling. And actually wasn't a very physical game last night. And you look at the 9 penalties on each team. Of the 18 called, 9 came in the 3rd period. So it was a pretty good hockey game from the standpoint that they played hockey. And basically what Northern Michigan did, Paul, is they jumped out in the big lead and just sat back and had 4 men in front of their net and said shoot from the perimeter. And the Badgers could not get the puck by the goaltender Daenerys. And I see they're coming back with Mike Jeffrey tonight, which sort of surprises me.
Bill, would you expect Wisconsin to try and get a little more physical tonight?
Well, I just think that they've got to be much better in front of Northern Michigan's net, much more aggressive in the defensive zone. Well, offensively, I thought they had some pretty good pressure. They just didn't do anything in front of Daenerys last night. And if you look at the number of saves that he had, Daenerys, probably 5 or 6 were tough. The rest, Paul, he just took in the middle of the pads or in the midsection. And so you've got to do some things in front of Northern Michigan's net better than last night. Tips, screens, rebounds, and that's a real key for Wisconsin.
But Daenerys did play well.
Well, he played well. In the same respect, he had a lot of help, Paul, and he analyzed all the shots the Badgers had, and you really break it down. 5 or 6 are tough, and if you make 3 of those saves, you only give up 3 goals, you win the game.
And we're underway from the Dane County Memorial Coliseum in Madison. The draw comes to the near boards to Randall. Randall with the puck, turn, played it down in from left to right. It rolls to the far wing, over to Thomas, left it go. At the point it was held in, a shot is taken, knocked down, it's picked out of the air by Mike Richter. As little pressure there on the part of Northern early here in the period. Only 16 seconds into tonight's game here from the Coliseum.
And Curtis got a good shot off from the top of the circle as they held the puck in the zone, and Richter made a good glove save on the initial shot of the game.
And the face-off coming up to the left side of Richter, back in the Wisconsin zone, and it's set up now. Stick handed with the puck, Ryan with it. Ryan goes cross ice as the Badgers look to set it up in the neutral zone. Played by Mellenby down to the corner on the left side. Cut off by Jeffrey. Back to the net, comes around on the near board. Down to Wisconsin. Wiedela hold it in. It was tipped wide of the mark by Mellenby. Around over to Thomas. Thomas stick handed to the puck. Thomas back to the point. Over to and a shot is taken by Wiedela. Knocked down, going around the corner on the far boards. Over to Thomas. We should mention Thomas is playing left wing on this line because Dave Maley is being disciplined here in the first period. He will not play in period number 1 of tonight's game. And the puck comes in over the blue line of Northern Michigan, knocked down to the neutral zone. And it's played to the blue line of the Wildcats, broken up there. We're just underway as it rolls down to the corner on the left side, back in the Badger zone. Over to try and pick it up is Grade. Grade moving back to the Badger net. Grade around to the far side. They got Chizowski in the slot, back to the point. Olsen with a drive, that's wide of the mark. Around to the far boards, over to Thomas. Thomas and Ernie Vargas come over to pick up the puck, back from Vargas to Thomas. And it's brought out of the zone by Ernie Vargas. Here's Ernie cutting it over the line. Ernie with a wrist shot, and that's blocked and knocked down. Turned away by Grade. Grade headmanning it to center ice. Knocked down to the neutral zone as Northern Michigan trying to pick it up. Played back in over the blue line of Wisconsin. Loose down in the corner over to Matt Walsh, trying to move around Chizowski. There's Matt Walsh with the puck, slides it to center ice. Broken up by Olsen. Olsen backing it up in his own zone, headmanning it on the left wing. And it's picked up by Bordur. Bordur cross ice to right. He played it in over the line. Broken up in front of the Badger bench. Ranheim deflected it. Went to Walsh, hopped over his stick, skating in. A drive, and Richter with a save as it was fired by Ron Bordur.
Richter came out, got set, and really took the angle away, and then made the good save and hung on, then got accidentally bumped into by the forward for Northern Michigan. And they do go to the net well, Paul, and that was a good example away from the puck how hard that they went to the net. When Richter came out, cut down the angle, and really from that angle made the save relatively easy, and then controlled the puck, which is important, and then got the little bump from the Northern Michigan player who was coming in to try to get the rebound.
And the face-off will move to the left side of Richter, back in the Wisconsin zone. 17:53 remaining in the first period. No score here from the Coliseum in Madison. And out comes the line of Geisness along with Chipper and Tuttle as Paul Gramelin got hurt last night for the Badgers, and he's out of the lineup. And the puck is loose in the neutral zone. Over it is Randall going cross ice. Over to Good. Good with it. Back in over the blue line on the left side. Over to Voss. Voss with it on the near wing. Had it taken away. Wiedela turning. Playing it to center ice. Over to Geisnes. Coming back over to Stanton. Stanton is playing with Marty Wiedela because Thomas has been moved to the forward line, at least here in the first period. And with it is Randall. Randall playing it down to the corner on the left side. Going back to the net. Wiedela over to pick it up. Around over to Stanton. Badgers look to break it out of their own zone. Flipped ahead by Chipper. Chipper trying to move it past Good. Chipper in over the blue line. And he's bumped in the far board. Pinned in the board. As the Badgers, Geisnes picking it up down to the corner on the left wing. Back over to Chipper to the point. There's a drive by Bunn. Knocked down out in front. The Badgers trying to hold the zone. With it is Chipper down to the corner on the right side. Played it behind the net. Deflected in the near wing. Held in by Geisnes. Back over to Chipper. Chipper working back of the net. Tried to center it. Knocked down. And whistle and play will be stopped in the northern zone.
And the reason is the goaltender's helmet got knocked off. And because that's a dangerous situation, the whistle must blow immediately no matter who has possession of the puck. And that was the call right there, as the goaltender Mike Jeffrey had lost his helmet. And I guess in this day and age, you wouldn't want to be a goaltender playing without a mask.
16 minutes, 47 seconds remaining here in the first period. Bill, your thoughts on the first little over 3 minutes?
Well, I think it's the way that the game started last night, to be very honest with you. The Badgers having possession of the puck and fairly good control, and Northern Michigan never really had a lot of pressure on Wisconsin last night. But I think the thing you have to be careful of, they play good in front of the net, then they flip it out and send that racehorse out like Michigan State used to, and that's what you have to watch for.
Face-off coming up to the right side of Jeffrey. And the draw loose to Thomas. Down to the corner over to Mellenby. They're out with Ryan as the unit. Puck loose to the boards on the far side over to Poindexter. Edmanning it to center ice to Hartley. Backhanding it down to the right wing corner of the Badger zone. Going back over to Buns behind the net. Buns with it now. Worked it past Jacobson. And the puck comes loose. Picked up by Matt Walsh. Here's Walsh up ice with Ryan. Coming in over the line. Drop pass to Thomas. Thomas across. There's his shot deflected off the stick of Mellenby. Mellenby down in the corner on the left side. Mellenby with the puck. Trying to work the boards to come loose down along on the wing with Thomas. And it's controlled by Hartley. Hartley with it. Moving it up ice. Here's Poindexter chasing it down. And Poindexter tried to send it to the net. It hit the skate of Hartley. Hartley is bumped by Buns back of the Badger net. Wisconsin clears it with Matt Walsh. Moving it up ice. Walsh in the late pass to Thomas. Right side over to Mellenby. Hit over the line. Mellenby lost control of the puck. Held his zone. Mellenby with it. A wrist shot blocked and knocked down. In traffic in front of the Wildcat net. That is picked up, and there's a drive which goes up over the glass and out of play.
Now Thomas had a chance, I think, to really rip the puck and look for the perfect play in the backside to Mellenby. And when Mellenby got it, he ran out of area to shoot ball. And I think Timmy, when he walked in right there, should have cranked it. He had the open shot in the net. He passed on the backside to Mellenby, and Mellenby didn't have the clear shot. And then Jeffries did make a good save, but there was a good chance for Timmy. Probably could have pulled the trigger. Of course, he's not used to being up in that position.
He really has been a valuable asset in that transition, hasn't he? He's
doesn't
gone from
hurt you,
defense to wing. And it makes it tough on a player, doesn't it?
But it doesn't hurt you either way because he can play well at either position.
And it's played down on the corner on the left side. Left to Richter. And Vargas down along on the near wing. Dug out by Grade. Grade with the puck around the boards on the far side. Trying to go to the point. Block. Knocked down. Picked up by Ernie Vargas. There's Ernie working it up ice. Ernie coming in over the blue line. Trying to go off to Ford. Back over to Vargas. Chase down in the corner. Back to the Badgers. The Badgers trying to set it up down. Hit on the wing on the right side. In the Wildcat zone. It's picked up and controlled by Curtis. Curtis had a shorthanded goal last night for Northern. And now the Wildcats will bring it back out of their own zone. Controlling it at center ice. Driven down in on Richter, who knocked it down, and he quickly played it back out over to center ice. Broken up in the neutral zone by Olsen, going cross ice to Morey. Back over to Olsen on the near side. And it's Olsen with the puck, played it in over the Wisconsin line. Broken up by Stanton. Here's Stanton with it from center ice. Driving it in on Jeffrey. Steered it around to the far boards in the corner to Good. Cross ice to Olsen. Olsen with the puck now. Headmanning it up on the far wing in front of the Badger bench. Knocked down to the neutral zone and trying to go to Tuttle was Geisness, played back in over the Wisconsin line, loose down to the corner of the left wing. Picking it up is Voss, working behind the net, down to the corner of the right side, goes back to the point, shot by Grade, and that's, by Good, deflected back out to center ice. And it's played ahead on the far boards, knocked down at the Badger blue line. With it is Tuttle coming in over the line, and Tuttle breaking to the net, but a shot is taken and whistled, and play is going to be stopped as Wisconsin's chipper fired it.
And Jeffrey's covered up with no one near him, and the rule basically says he had no pressure. You have to play the puck. And you should have made him play the puck there. There's no score in the hockey game. We're down to 13:57 to go. And I guess you would say it's a must-win situation. There is really no way around saying that.
The Badgers in third place right now with Minnesota with 42 points apiece. As the Badgers overall of the year, Northern having a very good season too. Last year they were 19-21, and this year already they have come up with a good year, and they anticipate even more. Northern has won 21 games this year.
I think he gets a lot of mileage out of his players. I really do.
And the face-off, the draw set up. There's a drive knocked down in front of the net, cleared to Ryan, played it back to the Wildcat cage as Northern setting it up to bring it out of the near wing. It comes to center ice, and it's played by Chizowski in on Richter. Steered it down to the corner. Badgers look to bring it back out of the zone. Laying it behind the net goes Stanton. Stanton is tied up there as Bordur trying to tie it up. Went to right, trying to go to the net to Chizowski. As Northern with pressure down to the corner on the left side of the Badger zone. Centered it to the net. Cleared by Stanton. Headman down to the zone. Right wing to Ryan. Cross ice to Thomas. Thomas in over the blue line on the far wing. Laid it down in the corner. Savarin is bumped by Ryan, but he fired it around to the near boards. Northern looking to break it out of their own zone. They play it in over the blue line of Wisconsin. McKenzie broke it up. Knocked down to the neutral zone. We have 13 minutes remaining in the scoreless first period here. No penalties called in the game so far from the Coliseum in Madison. Matt Walsh up ice to Ernie Vargas. Here's Ernie with it now. And he rolled it in on Jeffrey. Knocked it down. Knocked it up right in front of the net. But it was cleared by Olsen to the far side. Almost a miscue there on the part of the Wildcat goaltender. Played down to the corner. Back in behind the net. Jeffrey leaving it go. Pat Ford is there. Now the crowd getting into it a little bit here. As Ford's pass to the point comes all the way back to center ice. Over to Matt Walsh. Walsh with the puck. The Badgers control it. Pat Ford with it, trying to spin his way loose. Hartley there to force him away from the play. And it's knocked down now. Controlling it in the neutral zone. With it is Hartley. Played it to the blue line. Buried in over the Wisconsin line. With the puck is Jacobson. Played to the corner. Poindexter on his off wing. Chasing it down to the corner. Trying to pick it up is Hartley. Hartley and Poindexter and a couple of Badgers tied up in the corner. And we'll have a face-off in the Wisconsin zone.
Well, Jeffrey mishandled the long shot. Went to clear it. Whiffed it like one of your golf shots off the tee. And then ran just a step away from getting the loose puck in the open net. And then actually ended up going just wide of the net. But he simply went to clear it, missed the puck, and then is back to the play. Badgers could use a few breaks like that.
And the face-off will come up now back in the Badgers zone here with 12:07 remaining in the first period. No score in the hockey game. The draw to the point. Out a shot by Randall. Knocked down by Richter. Picked up by Wiedela. Monty Wiedela, one of 10 seniors who was introduced here earlier. Moved up ice by another one of those seniors. Here's Chipper. Chipper in over the line. Cutting in on the far wing. Chipper down to the corner. Skates, and a penalty is going to be whistled as the Badgers will get the man advantage as Northern will send a guy to the box.
And they get called as they just grabbed Chipper by the shoulder pad and dropped him down, and the official right there on the play. And one thing I think that Larry Thomas does well, Paul, he sees everything, not just where the puck is, and the tendency in the one-man system is to follow the puck a lot, and you miss a lot of things. But the Badgers will go on the power play. And last night they were just 1 of 6.
23% conversion rate on the power play this year for Wisconsin. They've outscored their opponents 59-54 in the first period. Northern has outscored theirs 54-39. We have 11:45 remaining in the first period. The man advantage for the Badgers. Wiedela with the puck, popped it up at the point, moving it up ice. Here's a potential break. In shot, knocked down by Richter.
Curtis had that lone break as the Badgers coughed it up, and Richter makes the big save early in the first period.
And it's played in over the blue line, down in the corner on the far side. Back over to Curtis, and he backhands it out of the zone. Curtis had that shorthanded goal last night for the Wildcats as the Badgers go back now with 1:28 remaining in the man advantage here. Picked up by Tuttle, leading it to Ryan. Ryan coming in over the blue line. Ryan with it off in the wing, lost control of the puck to Morey. Morey with it, and the Badgers trying to hold the zone. Wheeler holding it in. Off of the wing on the pass. Wisconsin trying to set it up. Tuttle was checked in front of the net. Over to Mellenby. Back over to Ryan. Back. And a goal by Mellenby. As he was set up beautifully, and Mellenby gets the goal. His 15th of the year, his 6th power play, and Wisconsin's 42nd of the year, and they lead it 1-0.
Mellenby and Ryan just ran the give and go. Mellenby gave it inside to Ryan. Ryan in deep in the corner gave it to Mellenby, breaking back through, and Mellenby caught it and shot it all in stride, which is the key right there. And it's a power play goal on a simple give and go, 2-on-1 out of the corner by Ryan and Mellenby. And the Badgers have converted their first power play. Mellenby will get the goal. Ryan will get one assist, and we'll have to wait and see who gets another one. Badgers lead for the first time in the weekend.
Made it look pretty easy there, didn't they? And it's set up now with the puck coming in over the blue line, with it down to the corner, trying to go to the net. And coming along on the near wing over to try and pick it up, knocking it down at center right. And the puck comes loose and over the line, trying to go to the net. They have lost. And it was played in on Richter, knocked down, almost put in by a Badger. Played by Ernie Vargas on the far side over to Ranheim. Here's Ranheim working his way up ice, cutting it over the blue line. Ranheim with it, around the corner with a shot, and Jeffrey with a beautiful save there. Comes back over to Voss. Voss with a puck down to the corner. Ernie Vargas trying to hold the zone. He did. Ernie moving to the slot, off, and moving it in. Ranheim with a shot, a goal by Ranheim, his 15th of the year. And first against the Wildcats, and the Badgers lead it 2-0.
Well, Ernie Vargas just muscled his way out in front again, got the attention of everybody, slid it to Ranheim, who had trouble controlling the puck. Then Ranheim skated to it, and Jeffrey down and out early, and Ranheim just threw it up and over from the rather bad angle. And the Badgers have come back and scored 2 goals here, Paul, in 38 seconds, and lead it 2-0. But a good play right there by Vargas, as he just took some people with him when he walked off the corner. Ranheim got loose, got the puck. Jeffrey went down, and Ranheim put it in the upper corner, and the Badgers lead it 2-0. It's a 5-on-5 goal.
And getting assists on the goal were Ernie Vargas and Pat Ford for Wisconsin.
Ryan and Weedle on the first one, Paul.
And it's set up now, stick hand with a puck, and with it is Shine. Shine dropping it back over to Weedle. Around to the far side, trying to play it ahead, knocking it down to the neutral zone. Badgers carry it back into the line. It's played by Reback. Akervik, Reback, and Shine around now for the Badgers. Puck comes loose along on the near wing. As Northern will set it up to bring it out of the zone. Bordur with it. Bordur playing it down to the corner, back in behind the Badger net. 2-0 Wisconsin, moving it around. Morey coming back to Randall, or Chizowski with a shot, blocked by Richter. And it's cleared now, moving it up ice. And coming in over the flow line with the puck is Akervik, and we've got Stanton away from the play.
Tied up with the Northern Michigan player. They're both going to go for holding or interference, but that's what got the potential.
Okay, Larry, one more thing.
Away from the play,
upstairs at
right,
23 wasn't on the ice for the first goal.
had got into an
22.
entanglement,
Okay.
and the official watching them all the way had to blow it dead and send them both to the box. We'll give them both holding. Not as good as anything. Gave the signal for interference, but it'll be 4-on-4 hockey. This comes at the 10:33 mark, with Wisconsin leading 3-3. Last night, Northern Michigan got the only 4-on-4 goal, and on the season, the Badgers have scored 13 4-on-4 and their opponents 12.
Corey Wright, the Wisconsin penalty to number 5, Paul Stanton, 2 minutes each for interference.
And the face-off for the draw loose on the far side. Bill, which team's a better team 4-on-4?
Well, as of last night, they were, but I'd say overall the Badgers probably are pretty good, depending on who they have out 4-on-4.
And right now out for the Badgers, coming in over the line, it's Matt Walsh along with McKenzie. At offside it was called. Tuttle is out, and Chipper is out. Those 4 players for Wisconsin. As Bill mentioned, Jeff Sauer looking on. Jeff in his 4th year at Wisconsin's won 102 games, lost 56. And 5 games have ended in a tie. 269 victories in his career. Rick Comley, the coach, 10-year total, 208 victories. For Rick, coming back in over the line. Here's Tuttle. Just wide of the mark, around over on the far wing. McKenzie with it, controlling it in front of the Northern bench. Played it in over the blue line, whistle, and play will be stopped. We're down to the 9-minute mark in the first period. Badgers leading it 2-0.
One goal by Mellenby on the power play with a nice feed from Tommy Ryan, and Marty Wiedela also gets the assist. And the Badgers come back 38 seconds later, and Paul Ranheim gets Wisconsin's second goal with a nice effort and feed by Ernie Vargas. And Pat Ford also picks up an assist. That was a 5-on-5 goal.
And we have 8 minutes 57 seconds remaining here in the first period, and we've had a penalty call.
Off the face-off, the Badgers center iceman, I believe, tripped the Northern Michigan player, and that's Tommy Ryan off the draw on neutral ice, got beat and reached out and pulled down the Northern Michigan center. And Ryan will go in at the 11:03 mark and put Northern Michigan on the power play, where last night they were 2 of 5. 1 point, they were 2 of 2. And they were hitting in about 30% going into this weekend series on the power play. It would be a
29.6 if you want to be exact, but that close to 30%.
4-on-3 power play, 2, Paul, which is a much better power play than the 5-on-4.
And it's set up now. Coming back goes Morey for Northern. And he passes it cross ice over to Voss. Voss with the puck, working it in over the line to Emmons. Emmons driving it around the boards. Over to Thomas. Thomas down to the corner. Going to try and pick it up. And Northern with the puck. Voss with it. Back in behind the net. Boy, a mismatch in size as Thomas took Voss. And the puck loose in the corner, and Thomas pushing Voss again.
Well, Thomas got tripped. And he figured, if you're going to call Ryan for a trip, why don't you call Voss for a trip? And Timmy got a little upset about it, and he actually bounced Voss a couple times there.
Timmy's all of 5'11", and Voss is all of 6'2". They're kind of a mismatch in size.
Yeah, I'd say he'd have a little trouble with that one.
Timmy didn't back down, though, in that situation. 8 minutes, 32 seconds remaining.
And Mr. Sauer saw it the way I did, that if you're going to call Ryan for that trip, you should have called Northern for tripping Thomas.
And we have a 2-0 game right now, 4-on-3 situation for Northern. Morey with the puck, and it was broken up nicely by Mellenby. It comes back over to Morey. Morey skating in with a drive, knocking it down. Wiedela trying to bring it out, and Richter was down, but it was cleared to the corner. And fired out of the zone is Wiedela and Thomas and Mellenby, 3 of the penalty killers out of the ice for the Badgers. Now Matt Walsh comes out. Also out is Ernie Vargas, and Tim Thomas will stay. Get over the blue line with it is Emmons. Emmons with the puck now, going back to that. Whipped it around the boards of the near side. Badgers break it out. Move it up ice. Here's Ernie Vargas against Morey. Ernie coming in over the line with a wrist shot, and Jeffrey knocked it down, and he gave it quickly to Voss. And we have 19 seconds remaining before it'll be a 5-on-4 power play. Matt Walsh took it away, and whistling. No whistle. I thought I heard one. But couldn't figure out where it was coming from, Bill. Moving it up ice, controlling it now in the neutral zone with a man advantage coming up now. 5-on-4 right now for Northern Michigan. As Stanton comes out of the box along with White. We have 25 seconds remaining on the penalty to Ryan. And then the Badgers will be back in full strength. Around over to McKenzie, turned and drove it up ice, broke it up by Good. Good with the puck around to Olsen. Olsen with it in the neutral zone. Olsen coming in over the blue line with it, trying to go left wing to Kizowski. And it was flipped up over the glass and out of play.
Well, Northern had the one good opportunity, Paul. They went into a diamond, 1 on top, 2 wide, and 1 in front when it was 4-on-3. And they had the diamond working as walking right down the middle was Morey, and a good save by Richter. But they had it set up in that diamond once, and you'll see that 4-on-3. And Richter again has made a couple big saves here in the first period.
Are they playing a different style in that situation than they did last night, or was that because you had a 4-on-3 power play?
No, it's because it's 4-on-3, and there are 2 ways to play the 4-on-3 when you're on the power play. You can go into a 4-corner box, like it's similar to 4-corner in basketball, or you can go into a diamond, and Northern Michigan used the diamond. You have to adjust them to what they're doing.
And it's lifted high in the air, and it bounces down to the right side of Richter. Both teams at full strength. As the puck comes around to the far side of it, Good fired it wide of the mark. And it comes in the rear wing over to Ryan, moving it up ice, trying to get it to Ranheim, who had up a full head of steam there, but Ryan couldn't get him the puck. Randall with it. Randall going back to the net. Randall coming out of the near side. Randall with the puck now, head manning it in the neutral zone, played it in over the blue line of the Badgers. And an icing will be called here from the Coliseum. And the score is 2-0 on this, your University of Wisconsin Hockey Network.
The Badgers have jumped out to a 2-0 lead here, and really Northern's had only the one good chance. That was when the Badgers were on the power play, when they had that partial breakaway by Curtis, and Richter made that save, which was a key save, I think, early on. And Wisconsin has had the better of the play thus far with just 6:32 to go. Mellenby and Ranheim the 2 goals.
And we're ready for the face-off to come up to the left side. Back in the Northern Michigan zone with 6:32 remaining in the first period. Played back over to Geisnes, back of the net. Geisnes tied up by Olsen. Chipper out to try and help out. It comes to Morey. Morey with the puck now will work it up ice, and it's played into the blue line, and we have an icing call on the Badgers.
And the play slowed down a little bit here with the number of whistles that we've had. And the Badgers basically rotating 5 defensemen in and basically used 3 lines, had the 4th line out 1 time. But I think in this game, Paul, you're in a situation where it's a luxury to use the extra defensemen and extra forwards. You basically got to go with your best as often as you can.
And it's set up by Wiedela. Stick-handed with the puck. Wiedela with it. Back of it is Stanton. Driven in on Jeffrey, who knocks it down. The puck comes loose. Back out at center ice. Wisconsin backing it up, but it's played back down to the corner of the right board. Going back of the net now. As Wisconsin tries to hold it in. Stanton with a puck around over to Chipper. Chipper had it cleared from his stick by Olsen. As Tunnel trying to hold it in. We have 5 minutes, 54 seconds remaining in the first period. Wiedela trying to drive it from the point. Deflected back to center ice to Stanton. Stanton with the puck, and Wiedela back in the Badger zone. As Wisconsin now setting it up, and they will dump it down in on Jeffrey. He's also left-handed, catching with that right hand. Both their goalies hard. Sedaris and Jeffrey. Played up ice by Hartley, coming in over the line on the right side. Chasing it down is Curtis. Curtis down back in behind the Badger cage. Going over to set it up now. Controlling the puck, moving it up ice, coming in over the blue line. Ernie Vargas with the puck down to the corner of the right side. Ranheim. Back up to Ernie Vargas, working behind the net. Ranheim there to try and come up with a loose puck. And it's cleared by Northern out of their own zone. Run skating back over to pick it up and did manage to clear it, but it was held in. Trying to move it right out in front. And the man tied up towards the slot. The Badgers have Buns on it. Buns with it, working it up ice in the far boards. Played it to the blue line. Get over the line. Ernie Vargas trying to pick it up. Matt Walsh at center ice and the near boards over to set it up. Puck set up now, and with it is Tim Thomas. Got to get over the line. Mellenby and Ranheim have scored the goals here tonight for the Badgers. Curtis is tied up by Thomas, and it's played out of the zone by Stanton. In the neutral zone, it's set up now. Controlling it is Lanigan. Lanigan playing it in over the line, trying to hit Grade. Whistle and play will be stopped at the blue line of the Badgers.
And I think the Badgers reached up with a high stick and touched the puck, which will force the faceoff all the way down in the zone in Michigan Tech. In the middle of the second period, 2-2 tie. In Denver, of course, 3 points up on the Bulldogs, and the Badgers 4 out of first, tied with Minnesota for 3rd and 4th place. And those are the top 4 teams, and of course they get the home ice in the first round.
So we'll have the face-off coming up now to the right side of Richter on that high stick call, as Bill mentioned. Northern in 5th right now. Then it's North Dakota, Colorado College, and Tech. Don't forget about the 23rd annual UW Hockey Awards Banquet, Saturday, April 5th at Cherokee Country Club. Cocktails around 5:30, dinner at 6:45. And the guest speaker will be Mike Eaves, former University of Wisconsin and National Hockey League All-Star. National Hockey League star, not All-Star, I should say.
We'll give him that, too.
Well, we'll give him like that. He deserved that. He never got the honor, but he should have deserved it. Back to the point on the left. There's a shot by Randall, knocked down in traffic out front. And moving it up ice, here's Wiedela with it to Ryan, who deflected it down in the Wildcat zone. Northern Michigan back over to set it up. 4 minutes, 14 seconds remaining in the first period. 2-0 Wisconsin. Moving it up ice, got to get over the line. With it is Randall. Randall with it, went to Boss down to the corner of the left. Boss with it around to the far side. And a shot taken by Emmons, covered up by Richter.
Well, Emmons took the shot, but he drilled Richter right square in the chest as the Badgers, again, careless in breaking it out, coughed the puck up. And fortunate for Wisconsin that shot was directly on the goaltender, or it would have been a 2-1 hockey game.
3 minutes and 59 seconds remaining in the first period. 2-0 Wisconsin. Ranheim with his 15th, and Mellenby with his 15th goal of the year. And setting it up, a shot, and hit the pipe and came out. There was a break for the Badgers, as Northern almost cut that deficit, as it was Chizowski. I think rang it off the pipe there, didn't he, Bill? It sure looked like it.
He rang it off of the upper part of the pipe.
And the Badgers are going to be a man short-handed here. as we have a penalty coming up with 3:37 remaining in the period.
A break, as you said, defensive face-off ball to the left of Richter. Northern Michigan won it cleanly, and the Badgers center did not stay with his man and just walked in and had Richter beat in the upper corner on the short side. It sort of rang off both pipes there and then bounced out. So the Badgers get the break early on in the first period. And then right after that, Buns takes a penalty. And that'll put Northern Michigan on the power play for the second time in the hockey game. They've converted on 2 of 6 this weekend against Wisconsin. As the penalty again basically out on the blue line, and Buns just stuck out his leg and tripped him, and that's going to be the call, the 2-minute penalty for tripping.
And we'll have the face-off coming up now to the right side of Richter, back in the Wisconsin zone. The draw to the point to Olsen. Cross ice, it goes to Morey with a drive wide. Back around to the left side, back up to Olsen. Olsen with it on the wing to Emmons. Trying to go to the high slot, cleared by Ryan. Trying to hit Mellenby on the lead. Jeffrey knocking it down. We have 1:43 remaining at a penalty time. Mellenby down to the corner. Mellenby trying to work in the corner to come up with a loose puck as Northern will regroup. And with it is Emmons. He'll bring it back out of his own zone. Emmons with the puck, angling it off the sideboards, rolls in behind the Wisconsin net. Richter there to fire it around the boards as the Badgers look to get it out of the zone, and they dump it. Coming back goes Olsen now. The Badgers will change up a couple of people. It's a situation where Wisconsin's down a man, and an icing's going to be called on Northern.
Well, Northern Michigan on the power play, rather than being patient and coming up ice together, ends up trying to make the long pass ball and gets called for the icing, and that's going to cost them 30 seconds on the power play with just 1:15 remaining on Gary Buns' penalty, and 2:52 in the period with Wisconsin up 2-0.
And the face-off to the left side of Mike Jeffrey, who is a sophomore at 6'3", 180-pounder.
A little different first period than last night.
Yes, it is, especially the scoreboard where the Badgers lead it.
The Badgers got there too, but they're not a 6 on the other side.
And it's played back to the net now to Curtis. Curtis with the puck around to Poindexter. The Badgers trying to take it away. Hustling around down there is Ranheim. Here's Ranheim with the puck now. He'll work it all the way back out over to center ice, and then circle and go back in the zone. Ranheim with the penalty. There's a penalty called. And it's going to go against Northern Michigan.
Notice how strong Ranheim is over the puck, and he's slow getting up as he gets spun around. I think actually ran into Ernie Vargas on the blue line. But you talk about a person that's made great strides from one season to the next, and that's Paul Ranheim, and he just did a great job there. And then I think actually got bumped into by his own man, and he's sort of reached back for his left knee. And please, no more injuries, PB. And this will nullify Northern Michigan's power play. They go 0 of 2, and the Badgers in 55 seconds will have a 1-minute and 5-second power play. And Ranheim is still on the ice, and they're looking at his left leg. And then what happened was when he swung back across the blue line, I believe he ran into his own man, Ernie Vargas, at the same time that he got hit. You can see the hit on the left knee, and I think he avoided Ernie, but the hit came on his left inside knee. And that doesn't look good at all.
And Jan Tappan is out there working on him right now. And
it's going up slowly. He's bending it. You could see on the replay how the defenseman for Northern stuck out his knee and then spun around. He just missed running into Ernie. I thought possibly he'd run into him, but just got by Ernie. But the initial hit came when he actually got spun and got hit on the inside of the left knee. And you'll be able to, we'll be able to watch it again, and you can see that the defenseman Poindexter just stuck out his left knee and hit Ranheim in the left knee and caught all of them as he was cutting across. And he's up, moving around slowly, and let's hope it's not a serious injury, because you cannot afford to lose Paul Ranheim, in addition to Tony Granato and Jim Johansson.
Well, going over the injury situation now, he's trying to skate it off now, and he is going off the ice under his own power, though it looks kind of gingerly that he's going off. Jimmy Johansson, we understand, might be back not for Michigan Tech, but for the first round of the playoffs. What's the status in Tony Granato?
Well, I'd say that, you know, it's about a 6-week recovery time. And if the Badgers got, I think, to the last round of the WCHA or the Final 8, he might be back.
Okay.
Not before that, I don't think.
2 minutes and 32 seconds remaining here, and both teams have a man short now. We are in the first period, 2-0 Wisconsin. Olsen with a puck, carried it in over the Wisconsin line, taken away by Thomas. Thomas looking for the outlet on the pass. Badgers moving it up ice. Ford cutting it over the line. Ford with the puck down to the corner of the left wing. He's bumped by Good. And with it is Vargas and Ford working with Good in the corner. And picked up by Olsen. Olsen lost it to Vargas. Ernie working with it down to the corner. Back of the net. It goes around over to Ford. Ford with the puck. Back to Thomas with a drive. And it was blocked out front. Cleared by Chizowski to center ice. Knocked down in the neutral zone. And picked up by Olsen. Goes cross ice over to Good. Good with it on the lead to Emmons. Played it past Thomas. Tim striding back over to try and pick it up, and Northern setting it up now. They try to go to Emmons, trying to get off a shot, and the Badgers will clear it out of their own zone. And moving it up ice now, the Badgers here with a power play advantage. And it's taken away by Randall. Randall
Got
back
too many men on the ice.
Yes, they did have too many men on the ice, and they were also offside.
Northern Michigan offside. The Badgers had 6 men on the ice, and the offside saved them. That could have been a disastrous situation.
1 minute, 29 seconds remaining in the first period.
57 seconds on the power play. You and I could count those pretty easy up here, but you know what? The referee has an awful tough time doing that.
I would not want to be an official.
I don't think I would either.
No.
You're never right?
No matter which way you make the call. Half the people aren't going to like it, or more than that, depending on where you are, I guess. And it's played down to the corner, going back to the net now. Randall had it taken away by Mellenby. Mellenby with the puck. Mellenby back over to Thomas with it, trying to go to the net. Tipped by Tuttle, just wide, around over to Ryan. Ryan with it on the wing, and Ryan setting it up. Ryan cross ice over to Thomas. Thomas with it, trying to go back over to Ryan. Ryan over the puck down to the corner, back cross ice over to Thomas. Thomas trying to go back to Ryan, cutting toward the net. Over to Mellenby, working on the wing. And held in by Wiedela. Wiedela trying to go to the net. Off over to Mellenby. Mellenby down to the corner to the right side. Mellenby with the puck. Mellenby working on the wing with Thomas. It's taken away by Grade. Moved up ice, tried to hit Curtis. Ryan carries it back in over the line. Ryan over the drop pass, trying to go to Thomas. Cleared back out to center ice. And we have 35 seconds remaining in the period. Knocking it down to the neutral zone. Coming back in over the line. There's the drive. Knocked down by Richter. It comes loose in the corner. We have 28 seconds remaining here in the period. And Northern's back at full strength. Curtis with a shot block. The Badgers turn it around and they move it back up ice. Ryan on over the line to Pat Ford. Ford cutting wide. Went to Mellenby. Shot to goal! And a beautiful setup from Pat Ford to Mellenby. His 16th goal of the year. And Wisconsin leads at 3-0. And Bill, that was a great goal.
And it's a big one with just 15 seconds remaining in the period. Ford came down the left side, made a perfect pass across the goal crease in front of the goaltender, and Mellenby was covered but was able to muscle his way free and tap it in on the backside on the goaltender Jeffrey. But Ford really made a nice pass, and Mellenby, as he's done so often, was covered and simply got his stick to the ice and tapped it in behind the goaltender. And anytime you get a goal in the last minute of the period, that's a big goal. It's a backbreaker for the other team and a momentum builder for yours.
And Mr. and Mrs. Ralph Mellenby are here this weekend.
Last time they were here, by the way, he had two hat tricks. That's right.
And his mom had a birthday yesterday. And we have 10 seconds remaining here in the period. Played back into the blue line. 8 seconds remaining in the period. Now the Badgers with a 3-goal lead here as we're going to close it out. And at the end of the first 20 minutes of play, the Badgers are leading in this hockey game by a score of 3-0.
Are you prepared to experiment with the technology of the future? At Northern Michigan University, the future is now. Enroll in a science program of your choice and advance yourself in the state-of-the-art using sophisticated and professionally equipped laboratories. Explore new frontiers that make science a challenging and fulfilling way of life for you and a benefit for mankind. Discover the future today. Call Northern at 1-800-682-9797 and project yourself into the future.
Transmission costs for today's programming on Public TV 13 are being underwritten by a grant from Carl and Marge Kumpala of Lake Linden, along with a matching grant from Michigan Bell. For the best in quality programming, thanks to your support, keep tuned to WNMU TV Marquette, Public TV 13, from Northern Michigan University. Local acquisition of Wildcat hockey was made possible by a grant from the Northern Michigan University Hockey Blue Line Club.
And we're back here at the Dane County Memorial Coliseum in Madison, where after 20 minutes of play, the Wisconsin Badgers are leading the Wildcats of Northern Michigan University by a score of 3-0. And the first goal of the game came up at the 9:05 mark of the period. It was scored by Scott Mellenby, his 15th goal of the year. Ryan with his 17th assist, and Wiedelo with his 32nd of the year. At 9:47, the Badgers made it 2-0 as Ranheim got his 15th goal of the year, with the assist going to Ford, his 22nd of the year, and to Ernie Vargas for Ernie, his 21st of the year. Then the Badgers made it 3-0, and getting the goal was Mellenby, his second of the game, his 16th of the season. That's a good year so far for Scott Mellenby. Ford and Ryan get assists on that particular goal. For Ryan, his second of the night and his 18th of the year, and for Ford, his second of the night and his 23rd of the year. And back with us is Bill Howard. Bill, what's the status of Paul Ranheim, who
he took the hit by Poindexter in the knee, Paul, and it's bruised. He's out for the rest of this night, doubtful for next weekend, and they've got to take a further look at it after they get a chance to x-ray it and so on. But again, you can see the hit, which was a penalty. Stuck his leg out and caught Ranheim on the knee, and will not play at all the rest of this game. No way, and has his skates off, and probably doubtful for Houghton, Michigan. And so the Badgers now have really been stung, Paul, with the injuries. When you analyze the people that have got injured, it's just 3 key people in your hockey team: Granato, Johansson, and now Ranheim, and they all come where they overlap. You know, you can get by with it otherwise. Richter had a good first period, had 11 saves. One of the complaints, and rightfully so, of Richter, and I asked him to speak to the official about it, was the fact that there are people in his crease. It's not being called, and they've actually hacked his skates, and I made sure that he mentioned that to Mr. Thomas, because the rule is very clear. You cannot interfere with the goaltender when he attempts to make the save. Jeffrey had 10 saves. Richter shuts the door, and Jeffrey gives up 3. And you just look at the injury situation, Paul, and you go down, and if you look at a line, and you'd say, you know, you can't lose him, or you can't lose him, or you can't lose him, and you lose all 3. And then they overlap. You can get by with 1 or 2, but now the Badgers are going to go with 3 lines and throw Timmy Thomas up front, maybe, Paul, for an indefinite period of time, and that means you're going to play different defensemen.
Well, I just totaled it up. You've taken 58 goals out of the lineup in those 3 players alone. And you've scored a grand total of 177 goals on the year.
About a third.
Yes, and it's played into the goal line of the Badgers. Chased down to the corner of the right side. And the whistle and play is going to be stopped. Dave Maley is out on the ice here. He was disciplined in the first period because of what happened after the hockey game on Friday night. Bill, when we get a moment to talk about this, I have not been in the locker room that many times, but you talk about the Granato, Jimmy Johansson, and Ranheim. Their lockers are pretty close, aren't they?
It's a funny story, and that is, we'll talk about that next stop.
Okay, and it's picked up, and with it on the far side now, knocking it down to the neutral zone. With it is Randall. Randall playing it in over the blue line. Marty Wiedelo back to set it up for Wisconsin. He's checked in the corner by Craig. Wiedelo back in on the wing with Craig, trying to come up with a loose puck. Knocking it down to the Badgers. Look to work it up ice. Dick-handed with the puck now, coming it over the line of the left side. Dave Maley with it. Maley is bumped down to the corner of the near side. Maley trying to pick it up. Back over to Stanton with a drive, went wide of the mark. Around over to Wiedelo. Wiedelo with the puck down to the corner, trying to center it toward the net. It's cleared by Randall, loose down to the left wing corner of the Badgers zone. Pardon me, the Badgers in the attacking zone here. Maley flipping it around to the far side, picked up by Grade. Grade down to the corner on the far wing, over to try and control it. Knocking it down, going back on the far wing, trying to set something up. And the Wildcats will bring it out of their own zone. Controlling it, moving it in over the line. A shot by Track, knocked down there on the far side. And the puck comes loose, and it's picked up, and Wisconsin will bring it back out of their own zone. The lead pass broken up by Morey. Morey coming in over the line of the right side. There's a drive, but it was knocked down by Richter, and the puck is cleared. Held it at the point by Morey with a shot, blocked by Richter. Rebound over to Matt Walsh. Walsh for the puck, working back to the net now. Will come out on the far side, and with it, Walsh taken down, and a penalty is going to be whistled there. And Northern Michigan will send a man to the penalty box. Bill, now let's talk about those lockers in the locker room.
Well, about midway down on the left side, you got Johansson, and then Granados is next to him, and then Ranheim's, and the Chipper's next to him. And what they've basically done is taken and taped those 3 lockers and told Chipper to move because it's getting contagious down there. Talk about ironic, right down the line. And they took a roll of white tape and they blocked it off. And then they said, Chipper, you better find a new place because it's moving down the row here.
Well, there's no doubt about the penalty call right there, giving the man advantage for the Badgers at 18-17 of the second period, with Wisconsin out in front 3-0 here. Mellenby with his 15th and 16th of the year, and Ramheim with his 15th of the year. The Badgers overall in the season are converting on just under 25% on the power play situation. Going into the weekend, that was 7th out of 8 in the Big Ten. We're in the Big Ten.
Big Ten.
In the Big Ten.
I don't know where you are here. You're in a football game or what?
7th out of 8 in the WCHA. The Big 8, let's call it. Moving it right out front. Shot and a goal by the Badgers.
Vargas.
Ernie Vargas getting the goal as we get our head back in the game. His 16th goal of the year. And the Badgers lead it 4-0.
Well, that took all of 11 seconds, Paul. Ernie Vargas just kept the puck in along the near side boards and walked out from the corner and got a nice little pick in front by Ford. And then nobody picked up Ernie. He got the goaltender commit. He came all the way across in front of the net and put it in the far corner. And that one is a power play goal for Ernie Vargas. And he just couldn't believe it. He kept walking in and nobody picked him up. And then he sort of lost the puck and the goalie went for it, drew it back and put it in. And the Badgers get a power play goal and lead it by 4.
And it's rolled down to the corner on the far side now. Back around over to Lanigan. Lanigan back of the net with Sabrin over to try and pick it up. Badgers leading it 4-0. Pat Ford has come up with his 3rd assist of the night and his 24th of the year on that last goal by Ernie Vargas. Chased down to the corner with the far side. Back over to Tuttle. Tuttle with it. Bumped down to the corner. Trying to kick it loose as Geisman's over to try and pick it up. And they're going to let him play down to the corner, and then they blow the whistle and stop the action.
That's a power play goal. And Ernie Vargas just again did what he did so well. Muscled his way in front and sort of lost the puck. It was funny. The goalie sort of went for it and he pulled it back and went all the way across the goal crease and stuffed it on the far side. That's a big goal, Paul, because it puts any momentum builder that Northern could have got early in the period, puts it on the back shelf. And even with the injuries, if you analyze this game when Wisconsin leading 4-0 and the schedule, the Badgers still can get second place, Paul.
And it's loose down to the corner by the near side, coming over to try and pick it up, blocking it, knocking it down, holding it in is Tuttle over to try and control. Puck loose down to the corner. 17:20 remaining here in the second period. 4-0 Wisconsin. And moving it up ice, here comes Emmons, hit over the blowout to the right side. Emmons with the drive, deflected, and it's loose back in behind the Badger net as Wisconsin over to try and pick it up.
Penalty on the Badgers, Marty Wadela for tripping behind the play.
And that will send Northern Michigan on the power play situation.
Excuse me, foolish, I didn't want to. What did I do with 4 penalties? How's that for an explanation?
2 minutes and 55 seconds into the period. Marty Wadela goes to the penalty box. So Northern goes on the man advantage situation. Bill, though, with the way the Badgers are playing here tonight in relation to last night, I don't see Northern coming back from a 4-0 deficit, do you?
Well, I don't think they're going to come back and win the game, but they can score 4 goals. They're that kind of hockey team where they can score a lot of goals. So 4 may not be enough to win it. But I think you're in good shape in your rink if you don't take a lot of penalties. And you have to discipline yourself now because the Badgers are playing without 3 regulars. And the guys that are regulars and your #1 players, they got to back off and they cannot take foolish penalties and they can't, take themselves out of the game because you just don't have enough bodies left. That becomes real important for the rest of the season.
Yeah, the ranks are getting a little depleted, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
17:02 remaining here in the second period. And the face-off, the draw set up to Morey at the point on the right side, just inside the blue line. Around to West, back up to Morey, going cross ice, shot, knocked down by Richter. Here's another reason I feel they're going to score 4 goals tonight.
He anticipated that play well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He played that one very well. Back up to Morey, Morey with the puck, and the Badgers break it up and they move it up ice. Stick handle with the puck coming in over the line on the right side. Wisconsin down a man, a shot fired wide at Jeffrey. Picked up by Thomas. Thomas back of the net, going around. Over to Mellenby with a drive. Rebound. Shot fired wide by Ryan.
But no goalie.
Back over to Mellenby down to the corner on the far side. And the fans appreciating that effort of the penalty killing unit. Back in over the line goes Morey. Morey with the puck down to the corner on the right side. It goes around over to Chizowski. Back over to Morey just inside the blue line. Played by Emmons down to the corner. Chizowski over to try and pick it up. Matt Walsh turning, trying to bring it out. Puck comes loose in the near boards, and the fans chanting, "Let's go Red," getting into the game here. And there's a drive from the point, knocked down in traffic in front of the net. Cleared around over to Emmons. Back to the point on the left side, over to Wilson with a drive. Covered up, and it's played to the high slot. And setting it up with it is West. West with a puck just inside the line. Around over to Morey. Morey skating in with a drive. Kicked out by Richter.
So that's got to be a whistle.
And it's fired wide of the mark. And Poindexter, or Chizowski there, tying up Richter. And Richter is going down.
Well, that's what I talked about. And Thomas has got to make that call. The Northern Michigan player knocks Richter to the ice. He's in his crease, and he doesn't blow his whistle. And that's absolutely got to be not a penalty necessarily, because he may get pushed in there, but it's got to be a stoppage of play because of a man in the crease. And we just talked about that before this period started, and he's got to call that. And Richter really took a belt there and went back on his heels, and that's a stoppage of play. Nothing else, the goaltender's injured.
And we're going to take a break. The score is 4-0 on your University of Wisconsin Hockey Network. And it's time once again to cast your vote for WHA's 7th Man Award. A handsome trophy is given annually to the Badger player who typifies Wisconsin trademark of team spirit, aggressive play, and good sportsmanship, as voted on by the Badger fans. Past winners have been Danny Gorowski, Ken Kurlik, and Todd Lacey. Please mail your vote on a postcard to 7th Man Award in care of WHA TV, 821 University Avenue in Madison, 53706.
35 seconds remaining on Marty Wiedel's penalty. And Richter and the Badgers have kept him off the board.
And we have 15:35 remaining here in the second period. As the puck comes loose, now the Badgers over to try and pick it up. As they try to play it ahead, knocking it down, loose down to the corner of the near side, trying to center it. And Chizowski with a backhand net down to the save by Richter. And it's moved up ice with it is Ernie Vargas. Ernie with the drive. And it's deflected in on Jeffrey, knocking him down, coming around over to pick it up. And the puck to Thomas at the point, drove it wide of the mark. Around to the far side over to Wilson, flipped up the ice, knocked down by Matt Walsh. Puck comes loose, and with it is Ernie Vargas. And whistle and play is going to be stopped. And the Badgers are back at full strength.
Richter around the back door again, a key save, great anticipation call, and he's really made the difference in the 4-0 game right here. He's winning himself a spot.
A consistent spot as you play the rest of the games down the schedule. Is that what you're saying?
That'll be determined, but he may be going to play Friday night if he plays this well again.
Is that your way of backing out of it now and not taking a stand?
I just said he earned himself a spot.
And it's set up and controlling the puck now. It comes loose on the near boards. Whistle, and play will be stopped. He is playing well, isn't he?
Well, he's anticipating. He's reading the back door. And the thing that you got to have is you got to have the capabilities to anticipate the play, and that's what he's doing real well. And he's made a couple key saves. And he's,
Bill, I think you'd have to say on last night's goaltending, Dean was not at his best, but yet on the other hand, some of the goals scored were not exactly his fault.
You break down 4 of the 6. One's off of one stick, one shot in by our own player, and 2 are breakaways. So.
And moving it up ice, controlling it. Here comes Randall in over the blue line. Randall with it. There's the drive, but it's knocked down. And the puck comes loose now. Down to the corner of the near side. Badgers look to try and get it out of the zone. With it is Ryan head netting the puck to Mellenby. Mellenby ahead on the pass now. 14:40 remaining in the second period. And it's broken up. Dave Maley tied up a man. As Northern setting it up, trying to get it on the lead to Poindexter. And Poindexter is not going to catch up with it, and an icing will be called.
You know, and Richter had the same problem in North Dakota. You know, the key thing is you got to have 2 goaltenders that can play, and a team in our league that doesn't has a serious problem, because what do you do if one has a bad night? You're dead.
And the faceoff will come up to the left side of Mike Jeffrey. Why were you surprised Rick decided to play him tonight?
Well, I just thought the way Generis played last night that he'd come back again, and realizing that they still have an outside chance for 4th place.
Shows confidence in Jeffrey, huh? Face off with the draw loose, and Ernie Vargas down to the corner of the right side. Ernie with the puck, and Pat Ford coming over to try and help out. And Ernie was tied up, and now Northern will move it up ice. Stole it to the Badger line. Played down in the corner. Takes it down to in the corner along with Joyce. Puck loose in the corner. And it comes to the near boards. Trying to hold it in as Savarin played it back to the net to Grade. Grade had it taken away by Ernie Vargas. And moving it up ice. And now we have some action away from the play. Track was one. And I'm not sure who it was for the Badgers, but we are going to have some penalties called.
Matching penalties for slashing, I believe. Looks like McKenzie.
11:27, 2 each, high stick.
In for Wisconsin, and Track going in for Northern Michigan. And it's interesting, the Badgers with a 4-0 lead. They're really like Northern Michigan last night in the second period when they were up 6-2. They're playing a little defensive hockey here, and Richter is getting a number of shots, and there aren't many in the other end. It's almost like Wisconsin is just going to sit back and try to protect the lead. I think it's a little early to do that.
Well, we still have 14:01 remaining in the second period here. Ernie Vargas with his 16th goal of the year. We have Mellenby with his 15th and 16th goal of the year. And Ranheim with his 15th goal of the year. But Paul Ranheim has a bruised left knee, and he is going to be out at least through next week. And there's a drive, wide of the mark, off the stick of Olsen, back to the point over to Morey. Morey back to the left side of Olsen over the drive. Clear by Richter, cleared back of the net now, around to Thomas. Thomas with the puck, heading at it up on the far side. 13:42 remaining in the second period. Now we get over the line. With it is Wiedela. Wiedela with it, trying to go to the net. Down goes the Badger, and Wisconsin saying goal as Chipper is in the crease, but no goal.
Well, even if the puck went in there, you know, he sort of pushed it in past the guy. You can't push the goaltender and the puck in across the goal line. Those don't count.
Well, Chipper doing a little talking there, trying to change the official's mind.
If the puck went across first, before Chipper hit him and then pushed him back in, then he would probably say that the goal would count. But I don't know how you're going to tell me where the puck is. It probably did cross the goal line, but you can't have a rule like that, I don't think, because otherwise you'd have people running the goaltender trying to push him back in.
13:35 remaining in the second period here. 4-0 Wisconsin. Puck loose on the far side. Picked up by Voss. Voss with it now to Randall. Randall to Chizowski, breaking through with a backhander, and that's wide of the mark. Comes loose on the near wing as Thomas with it, ducking the check of Voss. Voss goes down, and the puck loose to Marty Wiedela. Wiedela with it back to the Badger net now, setting it up with 13:15 remaining here in the second period. And clearing it up the far side. With it is Tim Thomas. Tim coming again over the line. Tim with a drive, knocked down there, cleared, and moved back up ice. Coming in over the line. With it is Voss and Randall, 2-on-2. Cleared to the corner by Wiedela, who's checked by Voss. Wiedela moving away from it. Laid it down to the corner on the far side now. Wiedela over to try and pick it up. And Voss and Wiedela slide down to the corner, dug out by Voss. Trying to center it right out in front of the Badger net. Goes to the point, played back in behind the cage. Voss with it, trying to center it to Chizowski, and Richter covered up in the slot.
Game getting a little ragged and a little physical, and Voss goes in there all arms and legs and wrapped Wiedela about 2 or 3 times, and Marty turned around and popped the one good time, said, hey, why don't you call some of this stuff? And really, Northerns had all the pressure on here in the period. We're down to 12:36 to go. Wisconsin leads at 4-0. But I'll bet if we had a little thing up like Duluth did, which I thought was nice, shots on goal, that would be a nice addition, wouldn't it, here? I bet Richter's got 10, 12 saves already this period to maybe 1 or 2 in the other end.
The Badgers have scored the only goal of the period, and it was scored by Ernie Vargas. Both teams now down a man. 27 seconds remaining on the penalties here. With it is Buns. Buns back to the Badger net. As Wisconsin will break it out now on the far side. As Bryant will move it ahead, backhanding it in to the left of Jeffrey. As he clears it to Savarin on the wing. Played back to the net now. We have 10 seconds remaining at the penalty time. To Track and McKenzie moved up ice. And in the individual zone, it comes loose as Jacobson was checked and taken off the skates. And both teams are back at full strength now. Round over to Matt Walsh, to center ice, and it comes to the blue line, played back down to the corner, and whistle and play will be stopped.
Play really is getting a little ragged, and some of the players, are more concerned about hitting the man than getting the puck. And I think the key is to get the puck and move it.
Bill, what is, well, let's go over the scores on Friday night. First of all, Denver beating Tech 6-5. North Dakota winning their 9th in their last 11, 6-3 on Friday night. And Duluth losing to the Golden Gophers of Minnesota by a goal.
Nobody wants to play North Dakota in the playoffs. You ask any coach, 30 to anybody, I just do not play the Sioux. They're hot.
Surdich really doesn't want to come to Madison either, as we understand it. Played down to the corner on the far side. Ernie Vargas go over to try and pick it up. Curtis held it in, fired a shot, went back to the net. And the puck loose down to the corner of the near side as Tim Thomas backhanded it away from the boards, went rink wide, broke it up by Olsen. And it comes loose now as it's set up by Wisconsin. And Matt Walsh with it. Walsh launched it at the blue line of the Badgers. Ernie Vargas over to try and help out. Broke it up by Olsen, and it's driven back down to the Badgers zone. With 11:18 remaining here in the second period. It's a 4-0 game. Badgers out in front here. And it's moved up ice. With it is Thomas. Here's Thomas with the puck now. Thomas with it, coming over the blue line. As Thomas with it, trying to go to Ernie Vargas. Northern broke it up. And it's going to be power play hockey for Wisconsin.
Interference call on Northern Michigan. And Northern Michigan player and Wisconsin player collided. Who got
Number 11.
Northern Michigan. That's Track, and he can't believe it because he just went in there and he's going to go back again. So the Badgers here with a good chance, Paul, and when they've had a lot of pressure on them here the last 5-6 shifts and a lot of shots on goal, have a chance here to get that number 5 on the power play.
So we'll have the face-off coming up just outside the blue line of Northern Michigan. On the season, 19-12 in the WCHA, 38 points. Badgers with a total of 42.
Badgers 2 or 3 in the power play tonight, so they improved in that area.
And moving it up ice, controlling it down, played down to the corner of the left side, chasing it back goes Randall, banging it around the boards, and it was cleared out of the zone. Artie Wiedela, Tim Thomas out with Dave Maley for the Badgers, along with Ryan on the power play situation. Go back to the net, look at this Thomas. Thomas lost it to Curtis. Curtis tried to come up with a puck, and it's loose now. Played up ice on the far side. Get over the line. Mellenby had to come back over to set it up. Knocking it down, and it's carried back in over the line of Wisconsin on the far boards over to Mellenby. Mellenby with 2 goals tonight. Mellenby with the puck now, moving it ahead on the pass, coming in over the line. Artie Wiedela with it. On the wing, back over the line, cleared out of the zone. It goes all the way back in the Badgers zone. And Thomas back over to set it up around to Marty Wiedela. Wiedela with it, looking on the lead over to Mellenby. Mellenby cutting in over the line. Mellenby with it, off trying to go to Maley. And Mellenby working back to the net. Northern trying to get it out of their own zone. Worry with the puck, Badgers holding it in. With a point on the left side over to Wiedela with a drive, and it was knocked down out in front. Bailey with it along with Mellenby down to the corner. Mellenby with it back just inside the blue line. And it's played on the far side now. The Badgers look to set it up. Backhander, and it comes cross ice. Mellenby passing up the shot to go to Ryan. Back over to Wiedela with the drive. It was just deflected. And Thomas couldn't knock it down, and striding up ice. Here's Emmons cutting into the net. Ryan trying to back check and pick him up. Shot was fired from the far boards. The Badgers will turn it around. Back up ice, coming in over the line. With it is Thomas. Thomas with it on the circle on the far side. 20 seconds remaining in a man advantage for the Badgers. Thomas with it. Whipped it toward the net, intended for Vargas. Badgers look to hold it in on the near boards. And now 10 seconds remaining in a man advantage as Ryan tried to work it loose, and that'll draw a face-off in the Northern zone.
Good back-checking effort by Tommy Ryan. They had a 2-on-1 as the puck bounced out of the zone. Tommy Ryan hustled all the way back, took away that backside man and any potential shorthanded opportunity they had. But again, that power play unit's out for 1 minute and 52 seconds. They have to discipline themselves to get a whistle and get off after about a minute because they're tired, and certain people, Thomas and Wiedela in particular, have played a lot, and it's even more important that you don't keep them out for 2+ minutes.
And we have 9 minutes, 10 seconds remaining here in the second period. As the Badgers have a 4-0 lead just inside the line now, trying to go to the net with it. Forward, but it was deflected back out to center ice, picked up by Matt Walsh. Walsh tried to headman the puck over to Pat Ford, broken up, and with it was Poindexter. Poindexter with the puck now. Both teams are at equal strength. We have 8:53 remaining in the second period. Played in over the blue line, chased down to the corner, back over to Stanton behind the net. Around on the far side, Badgers look to break it out of the zone. With it is Ford. Ford coming in over the line. Ernie Vargas on the far side. And Vargas took it away with a shot blocked. And a good effort by Ernie Vargas. And picking it up is Jacobson. He'll move it out of the zone as he goes left wing. Cutting in over the line was Hartley, and a whistle and an offside is going to be called.
Ernie just muscled his way and just picked the puck clean from the Northern Michigan defenseman and walked in and rifled one, and Jeffrey made probably the best save of the period. We have a score here in the second period. Tech tied at 2-2. Minnesota leads Duluth 1-0 in the first, and North Dakota 3-0 over CC in the first period. So North Dakota off and running again.
And it's set up by Morey. Morey with it in the neutral zone. And he played it in on Richter, who knocked it down, and Richter will try to sweep it out of the zone. And he flipped it up over the glass and out of play.
So Denver again having a little trouble with Tech, but you know when you analyze it, the only team that I know of that stayed injury-free all season has been Minnesota. North Dakota had the injuries early on, and the healthiest team right now is Minnesota and North Dakota. Denver's hurting, we're hurting. Duluth had, of course, that unfortunate incident with Matt Christensen, but really North Dakota and Minnesota are the only two teams at full strength.
And we understand Anderson quit Minnesota this week.
Who?
And Anderson.
No, I didn't. He's one of the many that they have, right?
Right. And Croyce also left Colorado College this week. So no reasons given as to why they dropped out, but they're gone. And moving it up ice in the neutral zone with 8:05 remaining now. In the second period, it's 4-0. Badgers out in front, and the puck loose, picked up by Buns. Buns will bring it out of the Badgers zone. Moving it up ice, Buns to the blue line of the Badgers, trying to go left wing to Reback. Morey with it, going back of the net. And it's set up now. Morey on the far side over to Chizowski. Chizowski and Morey going back of the net. We're down to 7:44 remaining in the second period. In a 4-0 game. Badgers out in front here from the Coliseum at Madison. Wisconsin trying to hold the attacking zone. And it's loose on the near wing now. Picked up and with it Chizowski. Here's Chizowski playing it down the corner, going back of the net. Goes Schiffer. White is there. Moved past him, coming on the near board. Badgers look to try and break it out on the near wing, back in their own zone. McKenzie trying to tie up a man. Schiffer over to Helfand. Played it around over to Buns. Emmons in the corner. Emmons kicks it around over to Wright. Wright back of the Badger net. Wright trying to pick up the pass. Emmons was taken down in front of the net, and play is going to be stopped. And it's a 4-0 game on your University of Wisconsin Hockey Network.
And the penalty is going to go against Scheid, Tony Scheid, for interference. That one comes at the 12:55 mark, and will put Northern Michigan on their fourth power play of the night.
Wisconsin penalty to number 33.
The Badgers still leader 4-0. 7 minutes and 5 seconds remaining here in the second period. Vargas, Mellenby, Ranheim, and Mellenby the scorers tonight.
And we have 7 minutes and 5 seconds remaining here in the second period, as the Badgers now with an opportunity here to come up with a shorthanded goal. Let's put it that way, Bill, huh?
Let's just not let them score a power play. You're getting greedy too early here.
12:55 the time of the penalty on Scheid. And it's set up now, controlling the puck, and it's backhanded up the near wing, knocked down to the neutral zone. Played in over the line. Olsen back over to pick it up. Olsen back of the net, goes around over to Morey. Morey with it, back over to Olsen, working behind the cage with 6:50 remaining here in the second period. And 1:40 remaining in the penalty time to Scheid. And moving it up ice, and with it is Morey, played it in over the blue line. Down back of the net goes Thomas over to pick it up. Thomas with it. Thomas working behind the Badger cage, moving it past West. Thomas around to Wiedela. Wiedela on the front side, looking to bring it out of the zone. Mellenby there to try and pick it up, loose in the slot, and it's picked up by Emmons down to the corner of the right side. Emmons working back of the net of Wisconsin to the left wing to Olsen. On the point, back over to Emmons to Olsen again. There's a drive pushed in front of the Badger net. Thomas had his man tied up there, and coming over to set it up at the point of the right side over to Morey. Morey with it, and it's taken away, and the Badgers look and do flip it out to center ice with it, Mellenby. Mellenby is checked, down he goes, trying to advance it. Ryan there, picked up by Mellenby, and he will drive it down to the corner on the left side. And we've got a little action going on in front of the Northern bench. Quickly broken up as Morey will go back to set it up for the Wildcats. And we get over the line with it as Olsen, a drive deflected by Richter down to the corner. We have 38 seconds remaining as the Badgers clear it out of their own zone. You talk about a good effort on the power play against Minnesota earlier this year. Northern was 9 of 15. You believe that? And it's set up now. Back down in the corner goes Thomas. 9 of 15 on the power play.
That's a lot of goals.
Yes, it is. And moved up ice and controlled.
That must have been in 2 nights. I'd hope. Could have been in 1 night.
Well, that's that 10-9 game. Remember that? And it's loose down in the corner on the far side. And going back, that was one of the scores, 10-9. The other one was 8-4. We have 5:05 remaining here in the second period. Coming in over the line. Both teams are back at full strength now. Badgers still leading it 4-0. Ernie Vargas trying to work it up ice. Knocked down to the neutral zone. Turned away by McKenzie to regroup for the Badgers to Matt Walsh. And he drove it back in behind the net. And Wisconsin will change up. And moving it up ice now. Controlling it is Lanigan on the lead to Jacobson. Get over the line. Trying to go to Hartley. That's broken up just inside the blue line. Played down to the corner. Going back of the net. Around to the far side of it to Matt Walsh. Walsh with the puck working back of the net. And Jacobson tied him up. Tried to move it right out in front of Richter. Heavy traffic. Traffic it is cleared by the Badgers. And moved up ice now. Controlling it. And it's driven around the boards on the near side of Wisconsin over to try and pick it up. Knocking it down. And it's picked up. And with it is Track. Track moving it up ice now. Played back into the blue line. And going back down to 4:07 remaining in the period. Around to the far side. Heavy traffic in front of the Badger net. And it's picked up and controlled with it is McKenzie. McKenzie off in the lead. Played back to the blue line. And going back over to set it up now. Controlling it down the wing on the near side. Coming in over the line. 2-on-1. Witkowski with the puck. Couldn't get it to the man. It was broken up and flipped up with the glass.
Believe it or not, the last place Huskies have defeated the first place Denver Pioneers 5-3. That's a final score. 5-3. So everybody that was behind them that lost ground last night has a chance to get back in the race. You realize that the Badgers win. They're back within 2 points of first place.
You want to take it one step further and say if they'd have won last night, they'd have tied for first?
I don't
that is assuming.
5-3 final. Tech has defeated Denver, and guess where we go next weekend?
To Tech. Minus Paul Ranheim.
In all probability, and Jim Johansson and Tony Granado. But the task here is you win this game, and you're back conceivably within 2 points. But you got to go to Tech. And Tech has defeated Northern Michigan now and Denver in the last 2 weekends, so they're starting to play some of their best hockey of the season.
And Denver, CC, home and home next weekend.
Denver with a win there could have closed it out. They'd have been 3 points up on everybody, minimum, with only 4 points left. They could have closed the league out, but they keep it a little interesting.
So we'll have the face-off coming up now, and the draw is set up. And just think, Duluth's got to be thinking now, if we win, we're only 1 point out. And it's played now, and moving it up ice with it is Pat Ford. Ford with the puck, moving it up ice. Got to get over the line. Ford with it, cross ice, moving it in. Ernie Vargas with a shot, partially blocked. Goes around on the far side. Badgers look to hold it in with 3:18 remaining in the period. And coming back over to set it up now is Stanton on the far side. Badgers look to regroup as they move it back to their own net. Stanton with the puck now, headmanning it out towards center ice, broken up in the neutral zone. And it's played back just inside the line with 3 minutes and a second remaining here in the second period.
Now let's see. North Dakota's going to win. You want Minnesota to win or Duluth to win? That's the next thing we've got to decide. I guess we'd want Minnesota to win, wouldn't you?
I would think so.
They got to play North Dakota at home, one of the hottest teams in the league, so they could better chance of losing one there. Let's get the point on the Bulldogs. Get in the tie for second place for the Gophers.
And the face-off will come up now. Boy, what a race, huh?
And Denver, well, that loss really leaves the door open yet for 3 teams.
And moving it up ice, coming it over the blue line to the right side. Coming up against Northern Michigan. Thank you. Holding is the call.
The Badgers will get to go on the power play. Up 4-0, Paul, with 2:52 to go. In essence, unless they're careless here, they'll have a 4-goal lead going into the third period, and maybe 5 if they can convert a power play goal. Comes with 2 minutes and 52 seconds left. The Badgers will go on the power play for the 5th time. They're 2 of 4 tonight on the weekend, 3 of 10.
Mellenby is out. He has 2 goals tonight, his 15th and 16th of the year. Ranheim has his 15th, and Ernie Vargas his 16th goal of the year.
Well, let's see. There have been 12 penalties. They're divided 6 and 6. And there have been 30 in the 2-game series, and they're divided 15 and 15.
I got 13.
You got one more somewhere than I got.
And set up on the far side now, turning, trying to bring it out of the zone. With it is Ryan. Ryan with the puck down to the corner of the right side, and the puck comes loose to the point over to Thomas. Just inside the line, comes cross ice in the near wing, and it's played back out to center ice. With 2:37 remaining here in the second period, as the Badgers set it up, coming it over the line. Mellenby, nice drop pass as it's set up to Thomas. Thomas didn't take the shot. Just inside the line, passing it off, and Wiedela. Marty Wiedela with the puck on the near wing, trying to go to the net. And it's Mellenby right out in front to Maley, and Jeffrey covered up.
Went inside and then tried to come across on the back door to Maley, and he whiffed at it the first time, got it the second time, and ran out of room. Couldn't stuff it past the goaltender Jeffrey, but the Badgers showed a little poise there and moved the puck around nicely. Marty Wiedela went inside to Mellenby. Had a little trouble controlling it, and then went the back door to Maley. If he could have got the original shot, Paul, they'd have had the goal and just couldn't get it off quick enough, and then Jeffrey made this.
Looks like he was in a little deep there, didn't it? 2 minutes, 17 seconds remaining in the second period. 4-0 the score. And Northern clears it out over to center ice. Wiedela there to pick it up on the far side. Badgers still have 1:17 remaining in a man advantage situation, carrying it in over the line. Wiedela with the puck going cross ice to Thomas. Thomas with it, trying to go to Mellenby, trying to kick it to the net, steered in the corner, dug out by Maley. Maley with it down to the corner of the right side in the Northern zone. Maley to Mellenby, back to Maley with a drive and a goal. Mellenby to Maley for his 16th goal of the year and his 6th power play, and Wisconsin leads it 5-0.
Well, that was a similar give and go that Ryan and Mellenby ran, except from the other side. Maley gave it inside to Mellenby, broke in between the two men. Mellenby gave it back, and nobody picked up Maley. He went to the net, got the puck, and rifled it in the far corner. It's the give and go, the 2-on-1 out of the corner. Mellenby made the pass back to Maley. Nobody picked him up, and he rifled it in the far right-hand glove side corner past Jeffrey, and the Badgers now have an overwhelming, I believe, 5-0 lead. What a difference a night makes.
Boy, oh boy, you just wonder, don't you? Dave Maley from Mellenby and Thomas. And it's set up, moving it in. Here comes Tuttle moving it in. The backhand is deflected wide by Jeffrey.
That would have closed them out.
Well, that was a good effort, and Ernie Vargas may be here then. The Badgers move it in, forward with a shot. Knocked down, and Vargas a goal. Ernie Vargas, second of the night, 17th of the year. And the Badgers now lead it 6-0.
How can you explain from one night to the next? Badgers now come back 2 goals in 17 seconds, and Tuttle could have had one in about 8 seconds, and then Ford had the shot coming back the other way. Rebound came out, and again Vargas muscles his way through the crowd, gets the rebound, and rifles it in the upper corner, and Ernie Vargas just having a great season. And I'll tell you, he just gets in there when that puck's loose, Paul, and muscles his way through and hammered it in the upper corner. And the Badgers have 2 and 38 seconds in the first period, 2 and 17 seconds here in the second period.
And Ford and Tuttle will get assists on that goal. And Ernie Vargas is the MVP of this hockey team as far as I'm concerned. There's no doubt about it. And I think the teammates of Ernie Vargas would agree with that. Way back of the net, 1:17 remaining, and moving it up ice now, controlling it. And the puck is loose in the neutral zone. Knocking it down, coming in over the line. Shied back over to Wackerbick with a drive. And the defenseman took the blunt of that shot. That was Olsen down to the corner. Wackerbick over to try and control it. Shine is there. And Olsen with it around to the far side over to Wackerbick. And the puck comes loose now. And it's held in. Wackerbick with it around to Reback. Reback from the back over to Wackerbick. He passed the shot there.
He sure did. He passed. He shot right away. He has a goal.
And it's set up now. Well, Ackervick and Reback with a good effort there, Bill.
Good effort, and Reback pulls the trigger. He's got the goal, and the Badgers with great pressure. They got Northern Michigan rocked back on their heels right now. And just a complete reversal of last night. But Richter didn't allow him to ever get in the game. Keep that in mind. He's made about 4 or 5 key saves in both periods. That makes a difference, and they didn't get any of those funny bounces that you saw last night either.
Pat Ford's having quite a night here tonight.
4 assists, huh?
Yeah. Van Tuttle gets an assist as well, his 8th of the year.
Vargas got 3 points.
And Ford 25 assists now in the year. Moved up ice in the far side, held in by Geisness. Geisness with the puck, trying to go to the net. Loose down to the corner of the near side. We have 30 seconds remaining in the second period here. And moved up ice, controlling it now. Coming in over the blue line to the right side, trying to work his way to the net. Blocked and knocked down. Puck loose along the near boards with it. Had a shot fired wide by Joyce, or Curtis. And it's loose in the corner on the far side with 13 seconds remaining. Here in the second period. Badgers out in front, stick zip here. And moving it up ice, controlling it now. And it's loose, played back into the blue line, and it goes up over the glass and out of play.
Badgers in full control. Good goaltending. Scored when they had the opportunities. Converted on the power play. Shut down Northern Michigan's. And how many times we said this in different occasions? Where was this team last night? Nowhere to be found. Played well after the first period, but when you give up 6 goals in one period, you have a long ways to come back.
There really have been 3 or 4 series this year where Heckle and Jekyll have showed up.
You just don't know where they were.
And it's set up now, and Sabrin plays it over the blue line, and we've come to the end of the second period of play. And after 40 minutes of action, it's the Badgers leading it by a score of 6-0.
Meet the challenge of tomorrow's professional world with confidence and pride. A rewarding and exciting professional career can be yours. NMU's pre-professional programs offer you the chance to build your own success. Call Northern's admissions office at 227-2650 or toll free at 800-682-9797.
For family viewing at its best, made possible by your generous contributions, stay with WNMU TV Marquette, Public TV 13, from Northern Michigan University. Local acquisition of Wildcat hockey was made possible by a grant from the Northern Michigan University Hockey Blue Line Club.
And we're back here at the Dane County Memorial Coliseum, where after 2 periods of play, the Cardinal and White are leading the Wildcats of Northern Michigan University by a score of 6-0. It was 3-0 after 1, and the Badgers made it 4-0 at 1:54 of the period, as Ernie Vargas got his 16th of the year, Ford third assist of the night, 24th of the year. Tuttle with the assist for him, number 8 of the year. That a power play goal. At 18:10 of the period, the Badgers got another power play goal from Dave Maley, his 16th goal of the year. Mellenby with his 21st assist, and Thomas his 31st of the year. Then at 18:27, the Badgers made it 6-0, and that goal was scored by Ernie Vargas, 2nd of the night, 17th of the year. Tuttle, 2nd of the night and 9th of the year. Ford, 4th of the night and 25th of the season. 6-0 Wisconsin after 2 periods of play. And again, Michigan Tech defeated Denver tonight. So the standings now in the WCHA, Denver with 46, and the Badgers could have 44 if they would pick up a victory. And if Minnesota would beat Duluth, Duluth would drop to 4th, and Wisconsin and Minnesota would be tied for 2nd, 2 points behind Denver going into the final weekend of play.
Oh, you're speculating again, huh? All that speculation ain't gonna mean beans until a week from tonight in Houghton, Michigan, buddy. And you know, we'll be done before anybody else will be, and that's gonna work to our disadvantage. Did you know that?
No, you just go out and win both your games, and then you don't worry about it.
We'll know what's happening down the road, though, in Marquette. We'll have a good run on that one. Jeffrey made a grand total of 8 saves. He has 18 for the 2 periods, so we'll give him his 8. And Richter had twice as many. And normally that's 16, I think. And if you add that in with 11, that gives him a 2-period total of 27. 27 for Richter and 18 for Jeffrey. And the Badgers have 6 more goals than Northern, and there's probably no way they're going to lose this hockey game. And Denver is now fallen. The last 8 games have gone 4-4. So they're making it interesting when they could have easily tucked it away. And all the probabilities and speculation, which I only heard part of, we don't have much to say about that, except we've got to win 1 period and 2 hockey games.
It's 6-0 Wisconsin here as we get ready to get underway with the 3rd period of action, and both teams will begin the period at full strength.
I got to interrupt. I got a request. If somebody knows if Memorial won the state swim meet, which they were predicted to do, could they call the station and let us know, so if they did, I could officially congratulate someone that I work with? How's that sound?
Well, Howie, I guess you can do that if you want here.
It's called loyalty.
It's played up ice, coming in over the line with it is Dave Maley. Maley with a drive, picked out of the air by Jeffrey.
We'll just wait. You'll be able to hear that, right? And I won't, right?
I'll set it up that way. If you want to do it that way, we can do it that way.
Houghton, Michigan, the land of many inches of snow, coming up next weekend. In really 2 very critical games against a team that is playing very well right now, even though they're in last place.
19:49 remaining here in the third period. Both teams at full strength. Maley pinned against the boards by Track. And the face-off will be coming up back in the northern zone.
I think the Badgers will keep the wing back and sort of play defensively here with a 6-goal lead.
I certainly would if I were coaching the team, but yet I'm not coaching the team, so...
Well, sometimes when you play coach, I've called you Coach PB a few times.
I know.
See what it says here? It says it's your show. We can congratulate anybody we want.
Is that right? Coming around to the near side, it goes over to Randall. Randall stick-handed with the puck. Randall had it taken away by Mellenby. Floating over the line. Knocked down by Jeffrey. And Mellenby covered up.
That came from that new guy down there with that new look that everybody's trying to figure out.
Who's that? There is a stranger in the truck.
No, he's got
guy
that,
that sits in
that black and white and stuff all over his face, and nobody can figure out what he's trying to do.
And we'll have the face-off coming up to the left side. I'm Jeffrey.
A lot more fun when you're winning 6-0, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And it's set up by the Wildcats now. Back of their own net as they'll move it up ice. Controlling it is Morey. Morey comes in over the blue line. Morey with the puck down to the corner on the left side. Morey with it down the near wing in the Badger zone over to try and pick it up. And coming over to stick handle with the puck, Dave Maley trying to work it loose. Maley coming in over the line. Maley to the right side. Comes back out over to center ice. And it's blocked in the neutral zone with 19:05 remaining here in this third period. Badgers out in front by 6. Played back in behind the net. And Stanton over to set it up. Stanton with the puck, headmanning it out towards center ice, intended for Ryan. Off on the wing, Ryan coming in over the line. Ryan off over to Dave Maley, trying to pass it off on the wing to Ryan. That'll be working back to the net over to try and pick it up. Dave Maley back to the point on the right side. It comes to Buns, and it comes out of the zone, whistle, and play will be stopped.
Well, the Badgers have 3 5-on-5 goals tonight and 3 power play goals tonight. And the one final we have is Tech has stunned the leading Bulldogs. Pioneers, you and I are having fun tonight. Got Bulldogs on my mind because of the Minnesota Duluth score, which we haven't had an update for quite a while on. But Denver has been defeated by the Huskies 5-3 in Houghton, Michigan.
Bill, I guess you got to say in all fairness, it not only happens to hockey teams, it happens to broadcasters too, where you have those nights. Tongue-tied and everything else. Here's Thomas with it, and a drive knocked down. A shot fired wide by Ford. Around over to Ernie Vargas, back over to Ford. Ford with a puck, working back of the net now. Moved it right out in front, took aim, knocked down. Ford with it again, and he's wrestled down by Emmons. And Emmons is going to go to the penalty box.
Thomas rang it off the post. Ford had it deflected when there was an open net. And the Badgers with pretty good pressure, and Thomas, Vargas, and Ford are playing pretty well together. And the Badgers are going to get a power play out of this. I think you said Emmons was the guilty party, so we'll believe you. Tripping, we'll say.
I don't know if I would tonight.
And the Badgers go on power play number 6, and they're 3 of 5 tonight, and have worked the puck nicely on the inside give and go. And it is Gary Emmons. You're right, PB.
18 minutes, 13 seconds remaining here in the third period. And it is a 6-0 game. And the face-off of the draw set up by Morey, working it around the boards, and he cleared it out of his own zone. Knocking it down is Richter, back of the net, going over to set it up now. Wisconsin with a man advantage. Matt Walsh behind the cage, off on the far side. And moving it up ice, coming in over the blue line with the puck is Pat Ford. Ford with it down to the corner, centered it toward the net, around over to Ernie Vargas. Ernie with the puck down to the corner on the far side, cleared by Morey. Morey for Northern Michigan, coming up ice. Morey coming to the Badger line. Off of the wing, it goes, and a shot taken by Curtis, blocked by Richter. Gloved, and with it was Gray, trying to go to the Badger net. Gray down to the corner on the left side. Played it back to the Wisconsin cage. Goes around over to Matt Walsh on the far side. And Matt with it, headmanning the puck to Tuttle, moving it up ice. And Tuttle coming in over the line, trailing it Ford. Ford with a drive, knocked down. Tuttle with the follow. Ernie Vargas trying to pick it up. Ford down to the corner on the left side. Ford with it, going back to the net. Ford down to the corner of the right board. Back over to Matt Walsh just inside the line.
Another penalty.
And it's set up down in the corner on the near side as the Badgers try to work their way out of the slot. Ernie Vargas there, and we've got interference in front of the net.
Goody.
And it's going to be a 5-on-3 situation.
Drilled Ernie from behind into the goal net. And that'll put Wisconsin in a very, very opportunistic situation here in which to convert. They have 53 seconds, Paul, with the face-off in the zone, and I think this game may end right here. Badgers pop one here, and I think the 7 goals ought to be safe, wouldn't you say?
Yes, and we understand Minnesota is leading 4-2 with 10 minutes left in the game.
Well, attaboy, PB. That means that the Gophers and the Badgers will be tied for second place, a point ahead of Duluth and 2 behind Denver.
So you go into the final weekend of the year with 4 teams within 3 points.
And that's something. But
and we understand Memorial did win, so
well, good. Then I can say congratulations to our athletic director and swimming coach Gary Copine, who wins his first state championship since 1981, and I wonder what he's doing right now.
Listening to the hockey game.
Of course, rumor has it that his team was so good that you could have coached him.
And it comes back over to Marty Wiedela just inside the line. Wiedela with a drive, and it was tipped down in front. Back over to Dave Maley, working back to net, around over to Mellenby, back to the point, and it comes all the way out of the zone.
Actually, he never smiles. He's sort of like someone else I know. He might even be smiling now.
And it's the Badgers setting it up with the 5-on-3 situation. Coming in over the line on the right wing boards, and down to the corner goes Ryan. Ryan with the puck, working back of the net, 6-0 Badgers. Mellenby and Ryan against Morey in the corner, picked up by Curtis, turned and he cleared it to center ice. We have 16:25 remaining. The crowd getting a little impatient here. Thomason over the blue line, over to Dave Maley. Maley with the puck, cross ice, moving it out front. Ryan with a drive, and it was deflected. Over to Mellenby as he tried to hold the zone. Now it's 5-on-4. And coming up ice, Dick Hanley with the puck. We have 16:08 remaining in the period. It's the Badgers leading by a half a dozen as they move it up ice now with the 5-on-4 situation in over the line. Ryan on the right, Maley to Ryan, tipped it. It was knocked down by Jeffrey. Ryan in front of the net is taken down. Maley is there. Whistle and play will be stopped for advancement of the puck in the high stick.
And let's see, if it's against Wisconsin, it'll force the faceoff all the way down. Ryan actually probably didn't need to tip that ball. He had a little room where he could have taken it and gone backside, but tried to redirect the pass and almost beat Jeffrey on the backside. When's the last time you said the Badgers are up by a half a dozen?
It's been a while.
6-goal lead. I can't remember if we've had that all season.
Could have used a couple of those last night, huh?
In the first period.
But that's why it is such an interesting game, isn't it? Crazy things can happen. Imagine New Hampshire beating Northeastern this week.
9-1.
9-1. And coming in over the line to the right side, over to Matt Walsh, just inside the blue line. Matt with the puck now. The Badgers still out in front here, 6-zip. And they have a man advantage. Forward with the puck, played it around to Arnie Vargas. Back of the net on the far side goes Lanigan. Lanigan turns and he clears it out of the zone as it rolls in behind Richter, knocking it down. Badgers had a 5-on-3, now 5-on-4, and it looks like they're not going to convert on either opportunity as they move it up ice. Here comes Tuttle in over the line, breaking to the net was Stanton. Stanton with it, tried to give it back to Tuttle, went through his skates, held in just inside the blue line. With it is Ford. Ford with a drive that's blocked out front by Lanigan, and back at full strength is
penalty on Ford.
And Northern Michigan will go on the power play.
Ford said, I didn't do that. Just looked like I tripped him. He fell down. Ford goes, oh, no. Well, Northern gets a little bit of a chance here. 15 minutes remaining in the period, and they'll get to go on their 5th power play, where they are 0 of 4 tonight, and on the weekend they are 2 of 9. And we're up to 15 penalties. You got 15 or 16 now?
I got 16.
I don't know what happened here. One of us is not doing something right here. I'll get the second period summary sheet and get this stat straightened out here. And let's see, North Dakota 5-1, Minnesota now 5-4 over Duluth midway in the 3rd period. Oh boy, 5-4 now.
And it's set up on the far side as the Badgers go back in behind their own cage, coming out the right wing boards. Wiedela with it. Out towards center ice, coming up ice, in over the line with it is Bryant with a wrist shot, and it's knocked down by Jeffrey. Lost sight of the puck, but it was cleared in front of the net, but the cage was knocked out of position. And Howie is counting the penalties here.
You got one more than I do.
How about the official stat sheets?
You got one more than the official. I'll do it again.
Well, then the official stat sheets, and you are correct, and I stand corrected.
No, wait a minute. I didn't say I hadn't got the first period yet.
14 minutes, 36 seconds remaining here in the third period. 6-0 Wisconsin. Ernie Vargas with his 16th and 17th of the year.
You're right, PB.
Bailey with his 16th. Mellenby with his 15th and 16th. Ranheim with his 15th. And it's set up now in the neutral zone. Excuse me, what did you say?
You got the 16s correct.
And it's played up ice on the far side. With it now is Ryan, back over to Wiedela. Admitting the puck in over the blue line, broken up by Olsen. We have 14-18 remaining in the third period, 1:17 remaining in the penalty time. And Northern Michigan moving it out of their own zone. Morey on the lead. DeVos, he's taken down at the Badger line. Wisconsin will regroup. Marty Wiedela. Wiedela lifting it ahead on the far side. Mellenby in the neutral zone. And Mellenby will circle in front of the Badger bench with the puck, angling it to Ryan. Intercepted by Olsen as he carries it behind his own net. Olsen on the lead up the near side to Emmons. They've shut him out so far tonight. He has 43 goals on the year. Brett Hull got his 45th. Last night for Duluth. And it's set up now just outside the blue line. With it is Voss, but an offside is going to be called.
Well, the Bulldogs, they just won't lay down there and give that one to Minnesota. They're down 4-2, have rallied back now and trailed by 1, 5-4 with about 10 minutes to go in the third period in Williams Arena. Again, Tech in Houghton has defeated Denver 5-3, and the Sioux are hammering CC in the second period 5-1.
And the face-off just outside the blue line of the Badgers, knocking it down. Randall going cross ice to Good. Good with the puck just in over the line. Played it off, and Poindexter trying to go behind the net. Ernie Vargas kicked it loose, chased down. And with it is Jacobson to the point to Good. Played it to Poindexter in the corner. Tried to return it to Jacobson. Right out in front, a backhander is taken. And that was fired by Chizowski. Loose in the corner. With it is Chizowski in the far boards. Back over to Jacobson. McKenzie took it away. Played it past Chizowski. And Jacobson down to the corner. Back in behind the Badger net. Set up Northern with a man advantage. 4 seconds remaining on the power play opportunity. And the Badgers are going to be back at full strength. Chizowski back to Good at the point. A drive. Knocked down and deflected by Richter to the far side to Maley. And Maley stick-handed with a puck. Will work it up ice. Maley cutting it over the line. Ford trying to go to the net. And he was tied up by Randall. Ford trying to back in a centering pass. It was cleared behind the net to Randall. Randall tied up by Ford. Maley and Ford working behind the net. Tuttle trying to hold the zone on the far wing as Northern sets it up in the neutral zone. In a 6-0 game played to the Badger line on the near wing with 12:27 remaining now. And chasing it down, going after it is Geisness and Good. Geisness and Good both go down. Kipper picking it up in the corner on the right boards. And back of the net goes Geisness, pinning Good against the boards. Kipper trying to work it loose, trying to center it, and it's turned away by Randall. Randall stick handling with a puck now, driving it in to the right of Richter, and whistle and an offside will be called.
12 minutes and 4 seconds remains in the third period. Wisconsin in full control, 6-0, led 3-0 at the end of one. Added 3 more in the second period. Vargas with 2 and Mellenby with 2 and Ford with 4 assists have been the leaders for Wisconsin, and Richter has shut the door, making 27 saves through 2 periods.
And 12:04 remaining here in the third period. And the face-off of the draw. Tuttle on the near wing tried to pick it up. Chased down to the corner. With it is Curtis. Curtis in the corner. Dug out by Grade. Grade with it. Back to the point on the far side. It comes cross ice. And there's a drive, but it was knocked down. Lanigan fired it. And the Badgers clear it out of their own zone. And going back over to set it up now is Savarin. Savarin with it, leading it, trying to bring it out. Wiedela trying to hold it in. And the crowd thought the whistle should not have been blown at the blue line of Northern Michigan, but it was.
Yeah, Marty just did not quite hold it in. And the Badgers doing a good job of protecting the lead, Paul, and killed off the penalty nicely without too many opportunities. And Mike Richter really staying on his feet well and just blocking the puck and then clearing it nicely.
And we don't talk about shutouts, do we?
Now all the people that used to get mad at me when I used to say that can get mad at you.
I'm not talking about a Badger
yeah,
shutout.
sure. Weasel your way out of this one now.
I'm talking about the last time that Michigan,
that's all right.
Northern Michigan was shut out.
Try to cover for yourself now.
Team Canada shut them out 6-0. Now, I didn't say anything about a Badger shutout.
Okay, you just did.
Going back of the net now, over to set it up. We have 11:19 remaining here in the third period.
Phones are probably ringing off the hook now. You just jinxed him. How can you do that, PB?
And it goes around over to Revac. Revac with the puck now, trying to bring it out of the zone. We have 11:05 remaining as the puck comes loose, trying to go to the net, knocking it down. Richter, and it's cleared out, and Morey there to try and pick it up. It comes back to the near wing. Loose down along the boards on the near side. There's a drive, went wide of the mark, around over to Morey.
Penalty coming up.
And the puck comes loose. Whistle and play is going to be stopped.
On Mr. Stanton for holding. And that knots it up at 9. Well, let's see, 8 penalties for Wisconsin and 9 for Michigan. That'll put them back on the power play, which will be the second time in the period. However, they've really not been very good on the power play, Paul. And they were one of the better teams in the league, but they're 0 of 5 times. The Badgers have done an excellent job. Stanton gets called for the hold at about the midpoint of the third period at the 9:13 mark. Badgers get to work on penalty killing again.
Everybody's smiling at me up here, and I know why. It's not going to happen.
What's not going to happen? Clarify yourself.
The red light's not going to go on.
In which end?
Behind Richter.
Which means he'll get a what?
And there's a shot, and it goes way high up, in fact, into the upper deck here at the Coliseum.
You got yourself in trouble now. You just better hope for the best, big guy.
Minnesota is leading UMP 5-3 in the third period.
And we understand it's 5-4 now, the latest word we had. 5-4 Minnesota over Duluth. And it's set up on the near wing boards in the Badger zone, clearing it up ice, controlling it. And the puck comes back along on the near wing now. We have 10:30 remaining here in the third period. Whistle and play will be stopped with a score 6-0.
Who's favored?
Wisconsin.
Very good. Minnesota, you know, is starting to play some pretty good hockey, Paul. They have swept CC, and if they win tonight, they would have swept Duluth. That means after being beat here twice, they would have won 4 straight, but they got to host the Sioux in the final series.
And it's moved up ice, played in over the blue line of the Badgers, knocked down by Tim Thomas on the far wing. Thomas with it, trying to headman it out to center ice, broke it up there. And it's set up by Olsen going cross ice on the pass to Morey. Morey ahead to the Badger line. Mellenby tried to take it away. And Thomas, and they clear it out of the zone. And we have 1:17 remaining in a penalty time to Stanton as Olsen goes back to the zone net to set it up on the breakout. Taken away by Mellenby. Mellenby back over to Ryan, and the shot was blocked and knocked down. And going back to the net goes Morey to break it out of his own zone with 1 minute remaining on the penalty time to Stanton. Coming in over the line, it's Emmons with it, lost control of the puck, and it comes back to the neutral zone. And it's set up now at center ice in a game in which we have 9:37 remaining in regulation time. Going back in behind the net goes Olsen over to set it up. Olsen with the puck, working it out to center ice to the Badger line, drove it in on Richter, knocked it aside, the rebound to Morey. Morey and Weedle up back of the net to Emmons. Emmons with it, Emmons down to the corner on the near wing. Emmons with it, and whistle and play is
there.
It
is. That's what we've been talking about for a period and a half.
In the crease.
That's right. Finally got the call, and you know, Richter politely introduced himself between the first and second period, going around the ice and said, "Could you please keep those green people, you know, out of my net so I can stop the puck?" Yeah, and you know, if you do that, you see you got a new name now, PB.
Oh, come on.
Attaboy there, bearded one. Paul the Jinx Brown doing the play-by-play here tonight.
What are they going to put up if they don't score a goal? And there's a shot knocked down in front of the net. How about the great prognosticator?
Yeah. Things could get bad here before this night's over. They were going to kill the penalty off, by the way.
8 seconds remaining in the penalty time here with 8:50 remaining in the period. And moving it up ice, coming it over the blue line with it is Voss. Voss with it, trying to move it out front, shot, and it's knocked down. Krasowski with it in front of the net.
Yeah, and Paul Brown sweating a little bit. Richter makes a great extension of his left leg reaction save to keep Paul Brown alive.
Way to go, Mike.
And it really was a nice play as the puck came down the left side, got out in front of his net, shot off the pass, he kicked the leg out, and then quickly covered the rebound up before it could be tucked in behind him.
What's his biggest asset, Richter's? Is it his quickness?
And anticipation. He really anticipates the play well. And
where have you seen him improve since the season has started?
Well, there's a way to anticipate and a way not. And at times he overmoves. He moves before the play and gets caught in between, and that's been the big improvement.
And the puck comes loose now with 8:38 remaining in the third period. And moved up ice, cutting it over the line with it is Ernie Vargas trying to go to the net. Jeffrey knocked it down and whistle. And play will be stopped.
Let's get on the serious side of things. We got a promo in the state high school hockey tournament, so we can get 4,000 or 5,000 people in the Coliseum. And that'll be, I believe, the weekend of March 7th and 8th. It's a Friday night doubleheader and a Saturday afternoon final. And the sectionals qualifiers will determine who will be in it. And tickets usually are on sale for the state high school tournament, Paul, at the respective schools, locally and the ones that are in the state tournament. And we're going to talk more about that because I think the hockey fans should come out and support that tournament and make it a big-time tournament.
And over to Thomas. Thomas with a drive, and it's knocked down. Batted in. No goal. Ford batted it in, but it's not going to count.
I would like to see what would have happened if he hadn't batted it, if it would have dropped in. It looked like it would have, didn't it?
I think it would have, yeah.
The save was made. It went up in the air and dropped in behind the goaltender, and I think if he would have let the puck go, it would have bounced in the net, and the Badgers would have had number 7. That was interesting. It's one of those pop flies, like where did it go? And did it... or would it have dropped in or not? I guess we're never going to know that one. But it looked like from here that it probably would have.
Bill, I think you should say, too, in the high school tournament that the WIAA needs to be shown that there is support for high school hockey. That's why I think the hockey fans in the area may want to take in the tournament, because at times they really haven't felt that way, I don't believe. That's a personal opinion on my part, but I think it's true. And it's moved up ice now, controlling it just inside the blue line of the Badgers. And coming in over the line with it on the wing, chasing it down to the corner, goes right, working back of the net now. And Emmons with a drive, just wide of the mark. And coming around to the far side with it is McKenzie. McKenzie with it, around over to Thomas, trying to head down over to Ernie Vargas. Ernie Vargas with it on the wing on the pass, over to Matt Walsh with a drive. And Jeffrey covered up and he made the save. When I follow-up statement on that, I'm not saying they do not care about the sport, but it's really not one of their priorities, and there is some concerns by the WIAA because of a few problems they've had with the sport.
Yeah, and I think they're legitimate concerns, and to be very honest with you, I'm concerned about the overall everything in youth hockey, high school hockey, in terms of the type of play that's been developing. And I think someone with some great authority has got to come in and take a hard look and pull the rope real tight on some of the things that are going on.
And with it is Gray moving it up ice, but again, the Wisconsin High School Hockey Tournament here at the Coliseum on the weekend of March 7th and 8th, I believe it is, or 6th and 7th, but that weekend. Moving it up ice, coming it over the line with it is Morey. Tried to break through, whistle, and play will be stopped. We should also mention the 23rd Annual UW Hockey Awards Banquet, Saturday, April 5th at Cherokee Country Club. The guest speaker will be former Badger Mike Eaves.
And then while we're being so serious now here, in essence, what Gary Copine's swimming team did, Paul, was almost unbelievable. 18 people could qualify. That's perfect for the state. 16 qualified, and he did an outstanding job of getting the maximum out of every young kid. Today, that's very difficult to do.
And moving it up ice with it, Geisness as he tried to go to center ice, knocked down just outside the blue line of the Badgers. We have 7 minutes, 18 seconds remaining here in the third period set up, and it's played down to the corner by Bordur, back to the point on the left side over to Randall. Cross ice in the pass, and a shot fired wide. Gates knocked out of position there, and play will be stopped. And we'll take a break on the University of Wisconsin Hockey Network.
And the Badgers are going to win the game. The question is, will they save Paul Brown or won't they? And that means, will Mike Richter get his shutout or not? That's the only thing that's left to be decided, because the Badgers lead at 6-0 with 7:04 to go. And we certainly wish all of the seniors the best of luck in the future. We'll be back here again for the playoffs. Mr. Baxter, Jim Johansson, Thomas, Chipper, Vargas, Walsh, Wiedela, and now they've taken the rest away from me, so I can't pick them all up.
But 10 seniors were introduced at the hockey game here tonight. And it's played down the corner on the far side, and over to pick it up. McKenzie, Reback working the wing. On the far side, Chizowski trying to control it. And it's knocked down, and the puck comes loose just inside the line. As a backhander was taken by Curtis. Back over to Chizowski. Tried to center it toward the net. The Badgers look to clear it out of the zone. Ackervik moving it up ice. Played it in over the blue line. Faced down to the corner with the right side. Sabrin over to pick it up. Sabrin on the lead to Curtis. Here's Curtis in the neutral zone. Up the left lane. Firing it in on Richter. Knocked it down. And the rebound comes loose. Jacobson overskated. Turned away by the Badgers and playing it up the far wing. Back in the Northern Michigan zone. 6 minutes, 14 seconds remaining here in the third period. Badgers out in front. And the Cardinal in white looking to have 44 points in the league, which would tie him for Minnesota and make them 2 behind Denver going into the final 2 games of the regular season here in the season finale, which will take place at Houghton Hancock, Michigan for the Badgers next weekend. Northern will take on Minnesota Duluth. Around over to Mellenby on the far side. Worked up ice now with 5:45 remaining. And it's Matt Walsh with it, playing it in over the blue line. Dave Maley with the puck. Maley trying to go cross ice to Ryan, but it was cleared out of the slot, and Hartley kicked it down to the Badgers zone in the near wing. And we have now 5:28 remaining. And here's Mellenby, who's looking for the hat trick. Mellenby in over the line, drop pass to Maley, working the far wing. Maley playing it down to the corner, and the puck comes loose back of the net now. Back over to Ryan, to the point to Stanton. Stanton with a drive, but it's deflected by Jeffrey. And Stanton getting it back, fired it again. And it was pushed wide out front, and it was cleared by Hartley. Hartley headmanning the puck to center ice. We have 5 minutes remaining in regulation time. Stanton coming back, hit over the line, right side of the pass to Ryan. Ryan was bumped by Olsen, picked up by Wright. Wright with it for Northern Michigan, lifting it out to center ice. Loved by Wiedela. Wiedela just outside the line, flipped it toward the net. It was cleared by Good to center ice on the far wing. And it slides past Richter as he looks out from his left. And he let the puck go loose to Emmons down to the corner. Ernie Vargas and Emmons working on the wing, trying to free the puck. Northern trying to hold the zone. The Badgers pick it up. And with it is Thomas on the lead as he lets Ford go into the zone. Thomas on the right side. Dumped the pass to the point over to Ernie Vargas. Cross ice to McKenzie. McKenzie with it. Back to Ernie Vargas. Up over to Thomas. And they centered it toward the net. Vargas couldn't pick it up. Blocked by Jeffrey. And it was cleared back to the net by Good for Northern Michigan. Angled it off the sideboards to the Badger line with 4 minutes remaining here in the third period. To Thomas, back on the lead to the blue line as Wisconsin takes it in over the line of Northern Michigan. Randall and Emmons come up with the puck, and it's cleared now as setting it up with it is Emmons. Emmons dropping it for Randall. Randall carries it to the blue line of the Badgers on the wing. It's taken away and cleared by Tuttle to the blue line of the Wildcats. There to pick it up is John Good out of Edmonton, and he played it ahead, backhanding it Bordur in over the line. Taken away by Chipper on the near wing. Chipper trying to get some help from Tuttle to move it up ice. Knocked down to the neutral zone with 3:27 remaining in regulation time. Sabrin with the puck back in his own zone on the lead to Lanigan. Here's Lanigan now bringing it in over the blue line of the Badgers, and Lanigan was checked by the hip check thrown by Matt Walsh. Played around to the far boards over to Bordur. Back to the point on the far side over to Sabrin. Back down in behind the net now. It comes loose on the left wing. We have 3:04 remaining here in the third period, and it's 6-0 Wisconsin.
3 minutes left. Be the first one of the season.
The first shutout of the season?
Yep.
By a Wisconsin goaltender. First in the career of Mike Richter.
I'm starting to think about how many shutouts there may have been in the league this year. Can you remember anybody shutting anybody out?
Yes, I can, as a matter of fact.
Oh, here we go now. Now he's going to get his book out. He's going to find it out right now. You're really getting it. Now look at this. Look what now Mr. Santuli's done to you. Look on
What's
TV.
That?
Look over here.
And it's set up now. What does that say?
Karnak, you know, Johnny Carson, the great predictor.
I see.
You're in that class now if you
2
hang
minutes,
in there.
45 seconds, 2:45 remaining here. 6-0 as the Badgers leading by a half a dozen.
And
Sounds kind of nice.
And playing very well, yes.
And it's set up now, controlling the puck as we've had 3 shutouts in the league, if you want to know for sure. Allen has 1. Cortez of Minnesota has 1.
Against Eastern teams or WCHA.
And John Blue has 1.
I wonder if any of them are against WCHA teams.
And now add Richter to that total.
2 minutes and 18 seconds remaining with the face-off to the right of Mike Richter. Everybody on the team's going over, tapping them in the pads. I bet nobody's mentioned the word, though. Only one person's mentioned the word.
Shutout. That's the word you don't want to mention.
You're being awful bold. But the Badgers have done a complete turnaround here after the disastrous first period last night.
And the puck is loose down in the corner on the near side. And coming over to pick it up now with 2:10 remaining here in the third period. And moving it up ice, controlling it now. The Badgers have the big lead. Maley in over the line. Maley with the puck, and the pass comes out of the zone. And 1:59 remaining now as Northern setting it up from the near side. And the puck picked up by Randall. Randall coming in over the line. Randall stick-handed with the puck, trying to go in a backhander. Knocked down by Richter, cleared by McKenzie behind that. Around over to Randall, off at a shot by It was cleared on the far side.
Open net, and he shot it wide.
Hey, I'm not worried at all. 1:35 remaining.
Hartley had the whole open net, and Richter down and out, and he pushed it wide at the open net. Yeah, and I'll tell you one thing, BB, you and Richter got a horseshoe on that one.
Everybody in the building was panicking except me.
Yeah.
Very calm.
We're having a little bit of fun with this, but you almost lost it all right there. You'd be getting bad mail and everything else.
1:33 remaining in the third period here. The Badgers are going to be potentially tied for second place in the WCHA with Minnesota. That is if the Gophers hang on and win. And moved up ice now, controlling it just outside the blue line. We have 1:18 remaining in regulation time. And it's played ahead by Buns to the blue line. Thomas knocking it down. Back over to Buns. Buns stick handling with the puck now. Buns back over to Matt Walsh. Walsh with it. And they go cross ice over to Thomas. Thomas with the puck, and he'll lift it down to the corner on the far side. Picked up and controlled. Headmanning it to the blue line. Take it away there, and now the crowd coming alive here. And with it is Wright down to the corner. Wright with it on the far side over to Ernie Vargas. To Thomas, 47 seconds remaining as the crowd is sensing the shutout now. And they
got to be good and you got to be lucky, and Richter was both. He was good and he had a few breaks.
And 35 seconds remaining here. Going back of the net now to set it up. And the Badgers responding, Bill, after that game last night.
Very, very well.
And we have 25 seconds remaining in regulation time.
The crowd cheering on Richter right here.
And with it is Matt Walsh, and that should about do it.
That will do it.
In over the line. With it is Ford. Ford with the puck is taken down to the corner on the near side. Over to Ernie Vargas. Ernie is tripped up, and Ernie is getting up very, very slowly now.
You're going to luck out here, PB.
Let you listen to the countdown. To the Wisconsin Badgers, the first in his career, as Mike Richter has blanked the Wildcats of Northern Michigan University, as Mellenby gets his 15th and his 16th of the year. Ranheim is 15th, Vargas is 16th and 17th, and Maley is 16th, and it's a 6-0 victory for the Badgers over the Wildcats.
Local acquisition of Wildcat hockey was made possible by a grant from the Northern Michigan University Hockey Blue Line Club.